3, 2. Oh my God.
What's up?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the program.
Shout out to Airtime, y'all podcast.
Yes, sir.
All right, today we got a special guest in the booth, absolute Canadian legend. Someone who, the more I kind of dove into this individual, kind of has done more for snowboarding than I think a lot realize. Shaped the sport in a lot of ways, from back in the day, pushing the progression on cheese wedges, to his personality, to where his personality led to, the Wildcats. An innovator, an entrepreneur, a husband, and a father, and a hell of a good homie. How you doing? We got JF Pelchat in the booth. How's it going?
Man, it's going well. Thanks for having me. So sweet.
Yeah, stoked to finally connect with you. I know we've been trying to do this for a long time, so appreciate you setting some time in your busy schedule. What were you doing today?
Oh, today, come on. I was waiting for some fridge to arrive at my house, and I had to swap 3 fridge. A bit of a nightmare, but unloading and loading the coolers and whatnot. So I was like, hey, man, I don't know. I'm going to be home until 4. I'm tied up.
Different times than when you first moved here and you were just playing in the snow 24/7 and probably living in a busted old apartment, sleeping on some bunk beds with some old French Canadians, and now you're, swapping fridges and taking care of a family. And speaking on family, we kind of have a special product here from the Wildcats, that being a family in itself. Can you just tell us a little bit about the product that you have over your left shoulder there?
Yeah, I had this board made last year by Wired, by Dow, because I knew I was going to be on this podcast, and I wanted to do a raffle and something pretty cool to give away, just in good old time memories, and, raffle it to all the Wildcats people out there. So I had it signed by all of the OGs, which is very sweet. And so, when I talked to you recently, I knew I was going to come up on this podcast. But then a new turning event happened. My good friend Martin Gallant, the Godfather, is battling stage 4 cancer. And I wanted to do something special. I know we did raise a lot of money on GoFundMe, but I felt that coming here on the show and doing a raffle for this board with all the proceeds going to his cause was the way to go. So, that's where we're at with this board.
How can people donate? How can people... For the record, people, this board is looking phenomenal. It's like this matte finish. Rob Dow from Wired specially made a custom Wildcats board with the Wildcats graphics on it. It's got the slime green base. If a lot of you older folks, you remember the stomp pads that came in the slime green and the blue. It is looking mint, and it's got all of the signatures on top in Wildcat fashion. Not done with the black Sharpie, but we got white ink, we got gold ink on it. It's a black and white top sheet. This thing's looking good. For those that are listening on the audio version, make sure you check out the video, and there'll be photo assets that are included on social, so you can actually look at this board and digest just how sick it really is. How can people donate? How can people buy this board? How are people going to get entered in this raffle to take that thing home?
Okay. It's very simple. So technically what you need to do is you go on wildcatsog.com, and that's a website where we have merch. And then you just scroll down, and the second, I think, item is this postcard of Martin Gallant back in 92, shot by Berger. It was a Transworld spread, very iconic photo, the early times of Martin here in 92. So what you do is you go there on the website, you buy one card. So when you buy one card, it gives you one entry. So you can buy as many cards as you want, and that's going to be your entry. So technically, if you want to buy $20 worth of it, that's going to be 5 entry. What we'll do, so when you do that, you're going to put your email and all your shipping address. We'll be sending you one card. So I'll fill it in, put your email, put your address, send you one stamp. So you'll have this cool postcard from the Wildcats, and then you'll have your entry. So what we'll do is in December, I think the second week of December, I'm going to raffle. I'm going to put all the emails on a raffle ticket, and I'm going to be raffling that snowboard, and whoever is going to win it, it's a one of one. There's not going to be other produced, so this is only one, and it's all signed by us. So for all the collector out there, or the people that love the Wildcat, this is your chance to get a piece of history.
Yeah, and if you don't follow on Instagram, it's the wildcat.og, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so go to wildcat.og, and there's probably linked in the bio. Also, can you go to, is there a specific website? Or just go to the Instagram, wildcat.og, and it's linked in the bio there, so you can go and
Yeah, so, by the time this comes up, there's going to be the board, and there's going to be an explanation of how you can enter, and it's going to link right to our website. But,
okay.
So it's fairly, very easy and simple.
Awesome. So go to the Wildcats Instagram, wildcat.og, for your chance to win a very unique and special piece of history, to have a Wildcats board made by Rob Dow, the legend, with every single signature, and know that all of those dollars are going to support one of the greats, one of the first. I kind of want to pick your brain a little bit about Martin here and get a little bit of insider knowledge about just how prolific his career is and his impact on snowboarding, and yourself specifically. So maybe describe Martin to those people that don't know him.
Well, the crazy thing about Martin is he's just a guy, and it's like he's kind of like the best salesman out there. It's just like he could sell you anything. The guy is just phenomenal, and he's just, always full of life. Amazing. And the crazy story behind me and Martin, we go back to kindergarten. People didn't even know that, but we went to the same kindergarten in my hometown. And then me and Martin, after that, he moved out of my hometown, and I kind of lost track of him. Really lost track of him. And then doing snowboard contests, we kind of got reunited through snowboarding, which is so crazy. And then after that, we met back here. I think he moved here in '89, and then my first time was in '90. But let's not go too fast. But Martin moved here before everybody, like the first Quebecer to move here, and he set his ground here. And he was full of joy. Still is full of joy. I love the guy. We call him the Godfather, because you'd be in the backcountry doing your thing, and who's showing up? Martin is right there beside, like he's coming. Hey, what are you guys are doing? Where's the launch? What are we doing here? No, that's not how you do it. You do it this way. And just, it's just funny, man. A character in the backcountry, and we love him.
I think a lot of people may have heard the name, but when you start a career, for example, having photos published, a 2-page of a method in Transworld in 1992,
yeah.
Is there a way that you can kind of describe like what he contributed to snowboarding, being one of the early pioneers?
Yeah, well, Martin's from Quebec, where I'm from. So for all of us back home to see that, we're like, we kind of look at this, we're like, oh man, this is possible. It's attainable. Martin did it. And we all, want to rush there. Well, I saw that. I'm like, oh my God, a Quebecer being in Transworld, French Canadian being, I was just amazing. And just for Canadian in general to be in Transworld, it wasn't happening all the time. So for me, and I think for a lot of people, he paved the way for the backcountry a lot, being here. And he was one of the greats for sure.
We're all getting older, and then one of your friends gets fucking stage 4 cancer. Somebody who inspired you, and by him inspiring you to move out here, there was a ripple effect to that. You have the next generation, like your Benji Richies, and then your Lewifs and Ben Bullucks, and then Anto Chamberlains, and like the ripple effect of what he contributed to snowboarding is sometimes so hard to fathom. And then I had a really special moment the other day where it was the Schmob premiere in town here, and we went down to Martin's fundraiser and celebration, and just like to pump some energy, and we went to his house, and I got to see all of you guys there, like my heroes, you and Cale Stevens and Browner, and the list goes on. It was just like packed with all these significant legends. And you're, in a way, it's not that we're saying goodbye because we're manifesting and we're putting out that positive energy, and he's a fighter and he's going to beat the shit out of this thing, and he's going to be back and he's going to be yelling at me, where's the launch? And we know that. But it is like this, like, it made me reflect on just like how special all this is. And then you go back up to Whistler to go to the Schmob premiere, which it's their first premiere, their first big one at Garf's here in Whistler. Wow. This local young crew that's in their teens that are creating something. And it's through crews like yourself that had a bigger impact than any of us can realize that inspired that generation. And it was almost like a passing of the torch, like a full cycle, you know, maybe, you know, your group is getting older to the point where you have kids now that are like, for you, you have Billy and Juliette who are pro snowboarders now, you know, that are in their 20s. And it was just a really awe-opening moment for me to be like, damn, like, and I'm in the middle of all this, and it was a unique perspective for me anyway, and it made me really grateful to be a part of snowboarding, really grateful to be inspired by your group and to see these new kids doing their thing.
It's just awesome. Like he did so much, and he was always part of this community, you know, of Whistler, like growing up, and everybody that was around back in the days, you know, he was friend with everybody. So it's amazing. But at the same time, you know, it's shitty that things like that happens. But at the same time, you know, we need to, you know, we not, like you see, you were there and the community comes together and we help homie, whoever, you know, no matter what. And that's what I love about snowboarding.
Wow. Well said. There's been a couple times this year where it really has hit me over the head, just how it's been a rough year. But it really goes to show you when you put your life's energy into something and you are involved in that thing and you build a community around that, it just goes to show you as a human how important community is. Yeah,
for sure. Because he touched so many people. So there was like people from back east, you know, that just came for that. And, you know, it was amazing. Good gathering. And end up in the sauna, you know, at Martin. It was awesome. Just good old times.
Do you have a standout memory of him from, you know, the good old days? I know you said you went to kindergarten. There was a space. Then you guys kind of meet back up in the contest scene and then into the backcountry. Is there one or two standout stories of him that, I mean, the platform is here. These people are snowboard nerds. I think that like hearing from you a story of a close friend would be.
Well, Martin, I remember him like at the first contest. I don't remember exactly where it was. I think it was Val-Saint-Côme in Quebec, and it was really the beginning of snowboarding there. So everything was really like, not, you know, everything, the pipe. I think there was a pipe contest, and he was part of it. He was just coming in and just kind of like causing a bit of shit around, and just with his gang, just, you know, like being crazy, Martin, just going big and just being like a Palmer a bit, you know, like that was, and I'm like, holy shit, man, so I got to know him a bit more then. I'm like, fuck, Martin, that's the guy. I used to go to, you know, kindergarten with him. And the crazy thing about that is his mom was the teacher at the kindergarten. And then not long ago, about 10 years ago, I was walking with him in town and we were meeting his mom. And the mom saw me from far and she's like, oh, that's Pelchat, Jean-François Pelchat, the little shit. He used to go, you know, when you're asleep, you know, you have a
nap time.
He's like, he used to go outside, pick up snakes and scared everybody, come back inside and scared everybody. So I was laughing. I'm like, yeah, that's me.
Oh, wow.
That was me. But going back to that contest, it was just really punk and really raw, and that was amazing. Just going big and just with his gang and just having a good time, like what you would do back then, you know. It was raw.
So wait, there was nap time and you were sneaking out and stealing snakes and then bringing them back into nap time?
Well, I was
You've been fucking with people forever.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. But the thing, no, nap time, I couldn't. I was too much, you know, I couldn't. You ask a kid that has so much energy to go sleep. I'm like, what is sleep? No, I want to go outside and play. So they would let me go play because it was fence, and I would just find some snakes or anything and bring it inside and just scare people.
moving out to Whistler, maybe in short form, what drew you out to the West Coast, and what was that first kind of year like?
Yeah. So I was always, like back home, I was doing the contest, the circuit, like the Quebec circuit, and seeing what was happening. And obviously I was looking at magazine and starting to, like to see what was going on in the snowboard world. And then I was always, back then I was always riding Burton snowboards. True.
Just to interrupt for 1 second, could you give us context on the year? Like what time with frame?
Okay, so I started snowboarding 84.
What?
Yeah.
Yo, I don't have the bombhole air horn, but that's what I'd be pressing right now, dude. 84?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I started in 84 in my backyard. So technically the way I started is my cousin was really into skateboarding, and he was doing half pipe. And then he turned a water ski like into a snowboard with a rubber strap, like inner tube from a bike. And he didn't really like it. And I took it in my backyard and I fell in love. I could only go straight, and we built a jump. So I got super hooked there in 84. And then after that, I start, back then I was doing a bit of skateboarding, but I was more into BMX. Like, it's just because, I don't know, BMX was faster to get away from the cops. So it's like, it was really, that's probably the reason. And all my friends were living really spread out in my town. So to get to them, it was, I don't know, biking. So I got into it. And then looking, in 84, got my first real snowboard in 85. And that was a Burton Elite 151 or 150 with a fin, kind of a fin board. So anyway, so that's going back there. But looking at magazine, I was a Burton kid back then, through a shop that would give me a deal. And obviously I was following Burton. So I saw that Craig Kelly had a camp here. He was doing the Craig Kelly World Snowboard Camp. First camp that he ever did was in 1990. And I saved so much money, and I was short. I remember I was short of a couple $100. And then I went to my parents. I asked my mom, my dad so many times. And finally my mom caved in. She's like, okay, I'll help you out. So I came here in 1990, the first time for the Craig Kelly World Snowboard Camp.
Who was here at Craig Kelly Camp?
Oh, fudge. There was so many people.
Any memories?
Oh, yeah. So many memories. Insane. Doug Boy was here. Jason Ford, Jacoby, Joker, Mike Joker, the Jacoby, Ross Ribliatini was here. And so those guys, there was a couple Sims guys, Kevin Delaney, that was here. So I was here meeting all my heroes back then, right? So it was amazing. So I came here in 1990, met Craig, became a really good friend of Craig. Oh yeah, and Damian Sanders. Damian Sanders, man. That guy was, oh man. He's one of the reasons I moved here. Him and Craig was the reason why I moved here. So anyway, to go back, came in 1990. Obviously I came for, I think the camp were like 7 days. So I think I came for like 8 days. Saw Martin, and I'm like, oh man, you're here. Yeah, I came here in 89. I'm like, oh wow, this is sick. I said, where you live? Oh, I live anywhere, in my van, a bit of places, and just crash everywhere. I said, what do you do for taking showers? I sneak in and everywhere, and I go and I take spa, and I just go wash myself everywhere. And I'm like, what the? So I was like, what is going on? So that was 1990, and I came back the following year, 92, for Craig Kelly's camp as well. And then what really, I'm seeing these arrows, and I knew that going back home, I knew that everything was happening back then West Coast. Like everything was if you wanted to be known or do something, was either in Blackcomb or down in California, right? Everything was on the West Coast as far as the trends and everything happening. So I'm looking at all this. I'm like, oh yeah. I gotta find a way to to move here because, like, it's so amazing. I'm coming out, like the first time I coming in 1990, I get off the plane. I look up and it's in the middle of July or something, or beginning of July. I look up and I see snow in the mountain. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, that was one of the first thing. And the drive, imagine coming from Quebec, riding hills and going to the Sea Sky back in the days and looking around and just being like, oh my God. Then 2 hours or maybe 3 hours, you get to Whistler and you get to meet Craig Kelly and all those guys. But really what made me come here and wanted to be a pro is Damien Sender was riding his bike, his motorbike with his chick Brandy in the back, and she was topless around Whistler. And I'm like, fuck, I want to be a pro snowboarder. Fuck, this sounds so good.
Wasn't she like a playmate?
I think so.
Playboy?
Yeah, I think she was something, man. But she was like down.
She was something.
She was down to do something. And I was 17 back then, and I'm looking at Craig, and I'm looking at them. I'm like, this is what you guys do. I'm like, I want to be part of it, pretty much.
Okay, you're 1990. That generation, you go up to snowboard camp. Snowboarding at that point is like every year is exponential in progression. Crazy. So 1990, who was standing out as far as like their riding, and what was the tricks like back then at that age?
Oh, wow. Yes. So obviously Craig was definitely the man. I mean, Damien was going bigger than him, but he had hard boots, right? Where Craig was just more flowy, and he had such a repertoire of tricks already. Like the end plants, the El Guerrero, and so many things, like Craig was really pushing it. Like that's when he was at his peak with contest-wise, I'm pretty sure, around that time where he was winning everything. So he was there and he was like, you're looking at this like, oh my God, this is insane, And then one of the camper that was with me as well that I remember that became a pro is Matt Goodwill. Matt Goodwill, that was a pro. Not a pro, he became a pro afterwards, but me and him became really good friends. And he won, I think he won the best performance of the camp, and I went second after him. I was doing J-Tears. I learned J-Tears here.
What's J-Tears?
J-Tears, it's kind of like a cab 5, but you put your hand down.
Like a cab 5 hand plant.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. So you go switch, go up in the air, you kind of spin, put one end down, and you come back regular.
In 1990?
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
And I was rocking the Black Mystery board, like the
Burton board?
Yeah, the Burton board with the 3 dots, the black one.
That one is nice still.
Yeah, that's pretty much Craig's board when before he got his real pro model, because he was in contract with Sims and he wasn't allowed. And he brought the mystery here. Yeah, there was, the history of back then was amazing. But I remember Matt, throwing down, going very big. I think he was riding for Morrow back then, if I remember. But we're all kids, meeting Ross and his sister, and just, everybody was so nice back then. Like you said, back then you would be, because I listened to your podcast, and back then, you'd be on a hill and you'd see a snowboarder and you'd go talk to him. Everybody was friend, and that's what it was back then. And, we'd be up there, and I think Craig was filming for Smooth Groove, I believe. One of the video he was doing. So anyway, it was amazing.
Okay, so around that 1990 era, let's not skip too many chapters, but 90 to like 94-ish, was there like a life-changing moment where you were like, I'm going to do this forever?
Yeah, so obviously coming here in 90, going back home, I had a different vision of what was possible, life and everything. So I would go back in my home resort, I'm like, oh, this kind of blows, but I know what I get to, what I have to to do in order to get good, because I saw Craig live and I was riding with him and he would tell me what to do and stuff like that. And everybody was helping us and we were riding all together in the same pipe. So you're seeing this, you're like, okay, well, I get it. So I would go back, work hard at my local resort, then came back in 92 to get even more. And when I went back in 92, I'm like, no, 91, sorry. I came back in 91 and 92 I skip. That's right. 92 I skip because I couldn't afford it. And then 93, I'm like, okay, I'm moving to Whistler. I had 2 jobs. I was working cabinetry. I was doing cabinet during the day. So I had to wake up at 6, finish at 5. And then at 7, I had a bar shift. I was working in a bar. And I started as busboy, became a bartender, and then that would finish at 3 a.m. And I did that for like 4 months in a row. At the bar, I had 4 shifts, and at the cabinetry, I was working 5 days a week and just grinding, just because I wanted to leave and not have to worry about money for, I don't know, I would say 4 months, let's say. So, and that's when I decided, I'm like, okay, I know that I have a good chance with all my snowboard I was doing and how it was progressing. And I realized that my home resort had nothing else to give me. Like nothing else I could, do that would get me better, because we had small parks, but most of the time it's just side hill. Like the cat track would just, make some side hills and we would go off piece and come back in piece and just do 360, late shifty and just all those things. And I couldn't do more. I mean, I'm like, oh, I got to move. If I want to do something if I want to become a pro snowboarder, I got to move out west.
I mean, that's a really important realization at a young age, or for anybody that matter. If like you're doing something and then you hit that ceiling and then you realize that you're not getting anywhere, sometimes it's actually not you, but it's actually your environment. Like you're like, oh, like I'm actually killing it, but the environment only is allowing me to achieve X. And so kudos to you to be like, fuck it, I'm out of here. Like, I only can do so many shifties off this fucking bump.
Yeah, and then even the contest and the circuit and coming here in the West Coast, I could hear everybody that was living here like, oh, this place in the winter, you don't understand. Every 2 feet, there's a jump or there's stuff. I'm like, and I could see the mountain, and they're like, I'm like, is this filled with snow? They're like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, there's like 10 of my hill here. I'm like, I need to move here ASAP. So one day I packed the car and with one of my friends, I think Dom was coming with me at that time, the OMG, and we did the trick and then we stayed in staff housing in 93.
Well, that's another thing is I don't think a lot of people realize that at that point, skiers' skis were thin, and all of them weren't really powder hounds. You know what I mean? People were coming up to Whistler and ripping groomers. So if you're an early adopter of like the fucking pow shred on a snowboard, you're going, if it snows and stays cold, you're just like doing hot laps for a couple days and doing your favorite runs. It's just you and your buddies.
Yeah, but don't forget that back then the what I was riding was not really powder oriented. I was probably a twin tip or something. Well, just like, I don't know. I was riding, it was not as easy as now, but yeah, we were riding powder and just decided like everywhere, man. I'm like going down and I'm like, oh my God, this is insane. Where? And you're like, you see your friend on the left side, you're trying to follow him, you're hitting that thing, you're going on the right side. It's just everywhere there's a bump. Like because my resort, like where, they groom so much, there's nothing in the piece. You're just doing slalom and you're hitting like one of the pitch and you want to do 180. But here it's just any bump in the snow was like, oh my God, this is insane. Like it was crazy. So going back to 93, moved here and then, met a bunch of guys and party all the summer and snowboard in the glacier. So we're doing public. In 93, I did public. We go up, I think, at 11 and just, ride and just have a good time.
Man, those early years, too, when you're just young and you're just wide-eyed and you live in Whistler and you're doing whatever you can and you're eating ketchup with hot water to get through the day and you're just doing whatever is necessary to just board, or some of the like, what a special thing that we got to experience on this like planet. Like the fact that you, JF, got to experience that in the grand scheme of things as being a human, you're like, what? Like the invention of the snowboard and just everything that was invented at that exact time made snowboarding what it is, because it was born from just a bunch of kids that didn't know what they were doing, and it was just chaos.
It was chaos and raw and real. You know, it's super real. Like it's like you said, the sport was just going exponential as far as tricks. You know, every year is something you would knew, and you would in a day you would ride and you would learn stuff all the time. You know, so it was just a crazy progression time. Like it was not like the 1260 and the 21, but it was something that needed to happen for what we have now. It was inevitable. So it was awesome. And yeah, I moved here, spent my summer here just riding, boarding, and then I really wanted to stay here. But then at one point, at the end of the summer, I ran out of cash. But then there was something going on here that if you knew, like you could get money from the government, which is welfare. They would give you $300 for your lodging and $300 for your food. So I went to Squamish. I'm like, okay, I need to get that because I need to keep partying and snowboarding for another month. So I did that, got the money, paid my rent, and then after, like, kept going for the rest of the summer. And then at the end of the summer, I'm like, okay, this is it. I need to figure out my stuff. I need to find a job, right, ASAP, because this was not, my intention was not to be on that all my life. It's just I need to transition. I need to keep, finding a job and stuff. So, and then I did find a job at Revelation Snowboard down in Vancouver.
So around that time frame, like you were saying, that everything was moving fast, what are some standout videos in that early 90s that really changed the course of snowboarding in your eyes?
Well, everything that Burton was putting on was next level. I think it was Board with the World, Chill, and just, watching Damien Sanders, Snowboard in Exile, maybe, right? During that time, and after Roadkill and all that stuff was just crazy, right? That was the early days. But I think everything that Burton and early Magdog, we were looking at that very, very hard.
What was your personal favorite back then? Like, what was one before 95 that just, like, for you were like, that was fucking it?
Well, obviously, Craig was the guy I was eyeing all the time. He was the guy I'm like, okay, I want to be like him. He's so good. He's a good friend of mine. Like I remember one time going mountain biking with him and Damien Sanders, and just crazy. Like we were all crazy, and it was just us, a bunch of kids. And it's funny because I just read more about Craig and his book and how he passed away, and I didn't know he was a BMXer as well. He was really deep in BMX, and now I can see, I can understand the mountain bike back then, how good he was, and how we were all fucking pushing each other and just trying to snake in front of everybody, and just like having a kid, and just good times, and just going out for beers with him and the gang, and just it was easy, like friend,
Was he one of your first friends that you would have lost to the mountains then?
I mean, I was not like close to him, but I called him my friend, and he would
a mentor, a hero.
And he definitely, and he, every time I saw him, he knew who I was. And Craig for sure was the first one that left us too early for sure.
Did that like impact you at all, or change kind of your perspective of just getting rowdy in the mountains?
Yeah, it did for sure impact me, because I'm like, well, that's when it becomes real, right? And you're like, oh my God, you can actually, before that, I never thought you could die in the mountains. I didn't even know, we didn't even know what avalanche was. Like we were we're riding the mountain here, just hiking and doing stuff, riding POW and stuff. But there was no concept of avalanche for us. And when that happened, obviously I knew about avalanche, but I didn't know it could take so many lives in one go. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it happened. And then I'm like, holy crap, that's crazy. That's heavy, really heavy.
Yeah. What was it like to be in the snowboard community? At that point, you were like, very well immersed in the snowboard community. I was just a child, but what was it like to be a part of the community at that time? The
community was still there, but it was not like what it is now. There was fewer of us and everybody was doing their things a bit everywhere. Me, I was always with the more of the French side, the Quebecer, French Canadian, hanging out with them. And it's not everybody that was there. They knew who Craig was, but it was my hero, So it's like, for me, it was very heartbreaking for sure. And I knew like Kelly Jo, which was his girlfriend back then. And then I knew he had a daughter, and I'm like, fuck, this is insane. Yeah, it's insane.
I'm imagining now, like, you having a daughter, what that kind of feel, that what the relationship to him losing his life would, like, you probably look at that a little differently now.
Yeah.
I mean, and it just, if you're new and into snowboarding, similar to Martin Gallant, Craig Kelly, like, just do a little deep diving, because it is nice to know that, like, what you guys have all helped build. And you were saying there that at that time Craig passes and the community felt really distant. I almost feel like the community was so young that there wasn't, like, now that the snowboarding is older, when there are these unfortunate things that happen in our community, there is like an older generation that's in snowboarding now. Because the snowboarding is not that old. You know what I mean? Like, when I run into Ken Ockenbach in the village, I'm like, he's the first generation.
Yeah.
Like, would you consider yourself like a second generation then?
Yeah, I would say I'm for sure kind of second generation, probably first generation, along with Martin from French Canadian to migrate here and make it. But for sure, yeah, I would consider probably, second generation. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, we'll switch gears a little bit here, not too much, but like, those younger ages, 17 you mentioned there to 20, you're really impressionable. You mentioned that your hero was Craig Kelly, but who are some of the more like active mentors when you moved to Whistler to help you? You're hiking the pipe every day. Who are these people that are your friends but are older than you that kind of mentored you during those years?
Yeah, that's a good question. Obviously there was the Whiskey Boys that were here, but it's not really mentoring. I don't know if I had mentor. I think we learn everything as we go, as we went, man. Like, honestly, like, there was a pipe on top of Blackcomb. We would just meet there and ride the park and the pipe and just, it was crazy. And just going back to what you were saying about Craig, now that I remember, it's like back then there was no internet. Like, you wouldn't know right on the spot. You would learn from it like way down the road. So, today if something happens, the same day. So everybody's more in tune with what's going on in a way where back then I feel like people, it took a while to reach them and it reached them differently for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a slower time to communicate with everybody. I did jump on a call with a couple of your old friends and people who would have seen you when you first came to Whistler, a variety of legends who I'll kind of speak on a little bit later, but I kind of want to hear, what was the energy of like hiking a pipe back then? Since then, the half pipe getting so big, being a big solid brick of ice, has turned into this like different tool that not everybody enjoys anymore, and it's not the mini ramp anymore. You know what I mean? It's a mega ramp, and so Danny Way and Tony Hawk can play on it, but not anybody else really. And they're not as prevalent on every hill where they were. It was like, can you just speak on the significance of a half pipe back then and the energy around like riding a pipe? Yeah.
So back then, the pipe was at the rendezvous on the right side of the rendezvous, just to the right, a bit higher. And it was if you look at today or anything, there's nothing like today. Was shitty. It's such a shitty pipe. And it was the first two hit, they were trenches, right? Highways that we call them, pretty much. highways. But the energy was insane. And you know what? There was not a lot of people back then beside the French Canadian hiking a lot. We were just, I don't know, we were just hiking a lot. I think we came from back then. There was 418 was there, you know, the Krebs and Etienne Tremblay. They were around. Derek Height, I remember early on, and Kevin Young was there around here. But yeah, it was intense, man. Like, it was serious business. Everybody wanted to go as big as they could and just, you know, hiking as fast as you can. And you have a DCP later on coming in and just hiking twice as fast as everybody, doing 2 runs in 1 run. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Chill a bit. But it was a good time, honestly, because everybody was cheering on everybody. Everybody was stoked on everybody.
I think the coolest thing about when you have a more intimate session, you know, if you come from skateboarding, you all just go to the back alley and you ride a box.
Yeah.
And the same thing with like hiking a pipe. That's the reason why I like the rope tow so much. Where I grew up is you ride down a short park, you jump on the rope, and then you watch your friends. So it's a consistent watching, and you see progression live. You see the kid who is 12 years old who just picked up a board, and them at 14 blasting out, you know, 7-foot frontside airs, and you're like, oh my God, Timmy's got it going on. And it's so fun to see that transition period with like somebody who's young and keen to go, and then you watch that year where it like clicks for them, and you're like, I feel like a lot of people I talked to saw that in your riding the pipe. A lot of people I talked to, like whether it was Dion or Devin or Sheen, said that like JF was riding the pipe, and you could just see that every month he would just get better and better and be going bigger and bigger and stomping, and it was a strong snowboarder. Yeah,
that's honestly that's pretty much all I wanted to do, is go as big as I can, and I could, and it was so fun. And again, when you have all your friends cheering you on, you know, like hyping you, it's just like, and they're right there. It's like the half pipe was maybe, I don't know, 200 feet, 300 feet. So you see the whole thing, right? And then you go back and you want to do better, and it's just a good vibe. Now that I think about it, I think Browner was there also. Browner was super stylish and just doing his grab, effortless, amazing. Yeah. So yeah, it was a good time. And then there was the contest, and
well, like, let's talk outside of Whistler. Did you vent, like, half pipe was kind of everything at that point? You transitioned from going from Quebec to Whistler, similar to that ceiling we were talking about earlier that you hit. Eventually, you're like, did you notice that in Whistler that you were like, I'm going to go to like some half pipe contests out of Whistler now, or travel somewhere? Or were you like, this is the end all be all?
No. Well, I mean, back in the days, the way, you know, I started doing moguls.
Damn.
Moguls contests. I did ride hard boots. I was doing racing. So there was 3, like in Quebec, there was 3 competition. I think there was the racing part, slalom, GS, and there was the half pipe, and I think maybe moguls, and then you could do whatever. And yeah, it was crazy. And coming here, there was a half pipe, and the park was not so good, and I still love doing that. So I kept training and did, like, I think I did a couple contests. Well, I did a bunch of contests, actually. I did one contest in Europe that was like Terry had put on. It was like $100,000 winner, and I finished 8th of all. I did a super final, went to the super final, and then finished 8th, which was pretty good back then. Like, not training, because I was not training. Like, the pipe here was, like, everywhere I trained pipe, if I only had a really decent pipe, and like, we did add weird transition, but when I would go to contest, that's where the best training was, because it was dug by either by a backhoe or something or whatever. It was perfect. So I was like, oh my God, this is so much fun. And if you think about it, pipe is amazing, because when you have that sensation, and just here, you know, and it would be awesome to have a smaller 15, 17 pipe. I think that people would get better if you it'd be not at the end of the freaking park, in the park. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Anyone who's listening to this that has a local resort, if you're Vail, whatever, mini pipes everywhere. And don't be shy to, at the very end of the pipe, put a little trash can or something in there that people can bonk and plant and
Yes.
stuff. Like, that would bring people together. And there's something about, like, hiking with a bunch of snowboarders. Like, I think about some of my, like, favorite sessions I've ever had. Most of them, like, whether it's in the backcountry or a rail or whatever, you progress the fastest when you hike, and you meet people, and you genuinely, like, get a little bit of, like, a hang with somebody.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's one of the best things about snowboarding is just
Yes.
being like, hey, we don't all really know each other, but, like, this picnic bench is pretty sick. Like, and then you see the guy who's like, I'm going to try the Cab 270, but they can't do it, and by trying throughout the end of the session, they either get it or hook their heel edge and do a funny backflip, and they're fine, but you laugh, and it's fucking epic.
Plus, I mean, at the edge control, think about it. Like, you do so many reps.
Oh, yeah.
So that you get so much better. And then I wish that we had more of that, because if you look at all the, like, a lot of good riders, man, like, that ever came, they were all pipe rider at some point.
Yeah, I say that all the time, man. If you want to be good at snowboarding, kids, go find a half pipe and destroy it. The best of the best all come from pipe.
I just don't know where you're going to go. I mean, you could go to COP, I guess. That's the only place. But they're so big. I tried one of those super pipe. I'm like, I was lost. I'm like, what is going on here? What? I think I went out like 1 foot out, and I'm like, this is scary.
Okay, you mentioned you got 8th in a contest with Terrier. There was $100,000 up for grabs. Who were some of the standouts that were? Do you remember being at the event?
Yeah, for sure. Daniel Frank, and poor Daniel, because all his life was finishing second behind Terry. That's his life. That's his career, all the time. I'd be like, oh my God, how harsh would that be? And Fabian Rohr was there. I think Max Plotzenegger, I believe. Bab Charlet might have been there. Guillaume Castagnol might have been there in that final. It was stacked. It was very stacked. I mean, it was crazy. And I got 8, and I think I got 4,000 euros. So, like, pretty good.
Do you have any other, like, I know that everybody rode contests back then.
Yeah.
That's what you did.
Yeah.
Pipe do you have any memorable or standout moments competing?
Yeah, I did. I mean, like, it's really foggy because I did a lot of contests, obviously, before I moved here. And here I did the West Beach Classic, which was crazy because everybody was drinking on the side of the pipe and just throwing down. I was totally different in the contest I knew. But then I remember doing a quarter pipe contest, and it was a Jose Cuervo Cup. And that was in California, I believe, and that's like, anyway, I was winner to take all 20 grand, and I won it over Peter.
You beat Peter Line?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
I know,
good.
that's the only time. I was doing cripplers, and he was doing his backside rodeo alley-oop, and he couldn't land them. I don't know what was happening, and I'm like, okay. So he went, and I was the last to go. And if he didn't make it, I was winning 20 grand, and he didn't land. And I'm like, yeah, 20 grand.
20 grand back then is like 39 grand now.
Yeah.
40 grand, you know.
So that's one of the time I remember. And then, I mean, I did a bunch of contests, but then when I moved here, I kind of like slowed down a bit, and I did a bunch of pipe contests actually, and I was on the Canadian national team at one point, trying to go to the Olympics. There was me, Krebs, Trevor Andrew, and Derek Height, I believe.
No way.
Yeah, and then I was one of favorite to go, but I broke my collarbone before it, just a couple months before it, and I couldn't go. And then Trevor went, I believe.
Yeah, he did.
Trevor.
Breaking your collarbone there before going to the Olympics, looking back at that time, which I know was a long time ago, do you remember you being like really fucking or just like didn't care?
No, I didn't. Like, obvious, because back then it was something I wanted to do just because they wanted us to be on the team and they were paying for a bunch of stuff or whatever. But I I've never set up my career wanting to go to the Olympics. That was not, or when I saw that, I was not like, it just came naturally. I was with Krebs, Manny Krebs. And by the way, I think I never beat him in any contest. That guy was so good back then in half-pipe contests and racing as well. He was good at everything. But he was on there, and then I hurt myself. And then after that, I didn't care about competition that much.
Well, because that was like the boom of like, Terrier shutting down the Olympics. Like what, being involved in snowboarding at that point and hearing that, what was like the chitter chatter around him being like, oh, Terrier's not going to the Olympics?
Yeah, I mean, it's there's a couple ways to see it. It depends on, it's personal, right? It's personal what you want to do in life, like what you choose to do. So you can't start judging people on what they want to do. I mean, they're their own person. If they want to go to the Olympics, let them go. I mean, yes, you can talk shit, and that's fine. You do talk shit, and it passes. But really, I was looking at this. I'm like, well, that's what he wants to do. He wants to put his own statement, and I did understand why, because it's the ski federation and didn't give a fuck about us, right? The snowboarder and the way they were treating us and stuff like. To this day, it's a lot of weird stuff going on still today. And he chose to stand his ground, which I respect. And other people wanted to go there because they're like, this is the first. People will remember, and after that, it's going to blow up. And it did blow up as it became a sport. So, yeah, it is whatever you want to do, man. It's like, it's yours.
Fucking some straight wisdom there, man. I agree. Like, not everybody's going to want to accomplish the same things in life. You know what I mean? There's somebody who grew up watching the Olympics, every Olympics, with like their grandma. Yeah. And like, for them, it's the most special thing in the world. And if they get one time, if somebody knocks on their door, like, you can potentially do this. Like, to them, they're probably like, this will be the greatest, like, they have this bond with like whoever they watch the Olympics with. It is a really special thing for individuals that's uniquely to them. And so to be like, you shouldn't do it. I really like that perspective, because I remember when the Olympics, I remember watching that Olympics and being like, just getting old enough that like my mentors were very like, you skate and snowboard, and people were like, very like, if you do those things, you must be like this thing. Yeah. Like you have to be a certain way. And it's like, you actually don't. But at the time, there was people that were really protective of over like how everybody should navigate snowboarding in a certain way. Yeah. And I feel like for you specifically in your generation, did you ever feel like it was hard to push boundaries back then because of what was expected of you by like your peers or groups that you looked up to? Like, you need to be a badass and you have to fucking go big, and you can't fucking ride for a ski company, and like you can't ride for whack shit, like, or you get bullied or any shit. No,
not at all. Like, sick. I did what I wanted to do, and there's certain choice and that happened in my life that I chose because I knew it were going to be the best for what I was trying to do. Right? It was my own decision of doing stuff, and again, people, to this day, a lot of people shit on a lot of stuff, and you can, if you want to spend your energy shitting on other people, or you can save that energy and do your own thing, pick your line and follow that wherever you want to go, and put your energy towards that.
I love that. I love when people like love the different elements of snowboarding too, and the different like lanes. Like, I love ultra core snowboarding and people that refuse to only want to ride for like rider owned brands, and like they need to know everybody at the company and they need to check all these boxes and whatever. And at the same time, I totally respect the person who's like getting the paycheck from fucking McDonald's and is taking care of his fucking family. You know what I mean? Like, and I think there's another thing that I'm just going to throw out there is, depending on like how you grew up and like what that was like for you, sometimes turning down money when you never had any is like a wild concept. No, you don't know where they came from. You know what I mean?
And you can have an opinion and you can help them out about seeing maybe a different side of it, like, right? Maybe helping them make that decision. But just at the end of the day, you choose the decision that's going to make the most sense to you. I mean, it's like life, that's what life is all about all the time. Choose, when you have a family, you choose the best for your family. that's how it is. So it's like me, I had choice, and I was fine by it. Like, yeah, I didn't mind.
Did you feel like, Cake, you go from Rev,
Yeah.
and then you go to Roxy, and I think that we should go
You mean
back.
Rosignol?
Rosignol.
Roxy.
Sorry, Roxy. No.
I love it.
Rosignol. But like at that time, riding for somebody like Rosy, based on how I've heard people speak on those times, it seems like that was already breaking social norms and already paving a way of like, I don't give a fuck, I'm going to ride for K2, or I'm going to ride for Solomon, or I'm going to ride for Rosignol.
So, just to give a bit of context how it happened. So, about Rev. And so I started working at Rev. I was working in Surrey. We're making boards. And I was grinding bass and stuff like that, getting involved and trying to understand how boards were being built and all that stuff. And the engineer there became a very, very good friend of mine, and we can go deeper into it later. But he had a pro team, and he saw me that I was snowboarding, and he snowboarded with me a couple of times, and he saw that I really had the fire. So he gave me a chance. I think it's in 95. He gave me a chance to go to Hood with the team, and he took me along and just to see what I could do. And I went there. There was a couple riders from the US, and I think they were just, I don't know what was wrong with them, but they didn't have the fire. I think they were in the wrong place in their life and stuff like that. And me, I was just like, are you giving me this opportunity? I'm not gonna shit on it. So I went there and worked so hard, twice as hard as anyone, because I really wanted. And coming back, after that I came back. I didn't know anything about it, and I got the nod. I think a month later, it's like, hey, we're gonna put you on the team. We want you to be part of our pro team. I'm like, what? And I was like so stoked. And Rev was so sick back then because it was me, JP Walker, Jeremy Jones, and then you had Tim Osler, that was very good, and there was Jeremy Pirati from here, and Colin Carrier, which were two locals. And that's the kind of the team. And so I would go to Utah and ride with Jeremy Jones and JP Walker, freaking just and we did make a couple movies back then. I don't remember what they were, but they were so funny back then, and they were loving me because I was so different. Utah is kind of Mormon a bit, and I was just going there, and all I wanted to do is snowboard and drink 40s. And they were like, "What is up with him?" And my accent, and and to this day, those guys are my friend. Like, and that team was stacked. And just to go back to because it's very important to go back to the engineer that gave me that chance. That guy's name is David Partridge, and he's the one that brought the slider to snowboard, the channel boards. He's the one that he didn't invent it because that was already in windsurf, but he brought it to snowboarding. And then after that, they fold. Capita took it, then Forum, and then Forum, Burton, and Burton did the single. So all from him. And we're gonna go later about this guy because I'm still working with this guy today. So anyway, so that was Rev, and Rev folded at one point, and that's when I knew something was going and it was going to happen, and I started putting my filler out there, and that was about 95, I believe. 96 the covers, so that would be 96, around 96. And then I was talking to K2, I was talking to Limited, I was talking to Rosy, I think Lib, was I talking? Yeah, a couple company that was very interested. And I look at all that and I'm like, okay, who do I think is going to pay my paycheck for the next 10 years or whatever, like my career? And I'm looking, and I really like Limited because it was a Canadian company, and Krebs was working there. Manuel Krebs was there, and there was other stuff at K2. Savard was at K2, and he was amazing rider, and I rode with him a couple times. Super cool guy. And I'm like, you know what? And there's a story behind that, the reason why I went there, which is even crazier. I don't know if you want me to go into it. why
Do
I
it.
signed for Rosie. It's crazy. Good. So in 85, I took a trip with two of my friends from Quebec, and we went to France. And one of my friends he's French. Both parents are French, but they were French Canadian. They came over, and anyway, he was a snowboard friend of mine. We snowboard, Marc Legros, and snowboard a lot together, and he was taking picture of me as well. So it was amazing. He's like, "Hey, JF, I know this place called Les Contamines in France. We could go there. I know the guy. And then this guy will he's going to find us accommodation and we can stay there." So we went there for like 10 days, I believe. And the guy owned a shop in that little resort. And so we would go snowboard every day. And then we would go to his shop for doing apéro and just hang out with him. And his name was Jean-Carl Carpano. And he was a very, very cool dude. So then did that trip, came back, never heard of him. Ever. Then when I went to Rosie to sign with Rosie, I start digging and knowing who was working there. And that guy was running the show at Rossignol. So I hit him up. It's crazy. It was meant to happen. I hit him up. I say, "Hey, I'm looking for a ride. I know you guys, because I was talking to people around here with Rosie. And then I went direct to France. And I was dealing with him. And he was like, "Man, this is insane. I know you are." And yeah, we met. And so that was the reason why I went with Rosie, because of him. Not just of that, but because I knew that ski company would be around. They've been around for hundreds of years. I'm like, they'll be around in the next, for my life. So I'm like, I know I'm going to have a paycheck. And if I do it right, I'm going to grow with them. And it's going to be part of a family and it's going to be awesome. So that's the one of the reasons, that guy. And he worked for Rosie for a while, and then he went and worked, I think, for Burton afterwards. But
Good story on not burning bridges right there.
yeah,
It always
I
comes
know
full
that's
circle.
the thing, and that's one thing I learned. It was hard to learn, but it's one thing that you never know who you're going to meet and who you're going to meet the same person later in life. So, you got to be careful of how you treat people, I guess.
I mean, in transitioning from Rev to Rossignol, it's been long enough. I would love for you to speak candidly on how much was a Rev paycheck and what was it like going to Rosie back then? Like, was it an increase or was it the same or a demotion?
It was insane. Like, we're talking about a couple zero at the end. I think at Rev I was making, I'm trying to think, I don't know, 1,000 a month maybe,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Maybe with and maybe we had
Incentives or whatever.
incentive, but just with Rosie, just my travel was 25 grand, and then my incentive. It's crazy. I just look at the one of the incentive I submitted in '99. It was $18,000 just for my incentive. Like cover, Conatol winnings, matching. And I don't even know what that contest went, but I guess I did good. And then cover of Transworld, and then double page, and I'm like, wow, I'm looking at this, I'm like, I don't even remember any of this shit. But I have all the mags, so if I want to go back, I will. I would sit down one day with the kids and show them.
Okay, so you also, I heard, I don't know if this is true, but you can speak to it. You helped design the Rossignol team, or had some say with that.
Yeah, for sure.
And Rosie had some phenomenal snowboarders on it during its peak. Do you want to speak to some of the team riders you had?
I think, to be honestly, I think at one point, Rosie had the most stacked team.
I agree.
It's completely insane. And the amount of board they were selling in Canada is insane. It's ridiculous, like 8 So let's start with the Canadian. Okay, so, and there was some younger. So Canadian, there was me, Dion, Benji was on there. There was Oshu, and there was Renault, another another guy from back east. That I remember. But they were like kind of the upcoming, right? And then in the States, you had Anna Beeman, you had Andrew Crawford, Todd Richard, Travis Rice, Ron Quixote was a pipe rider, and I'm trying to think who else was from the States. So I think there might be other people. Yes, and then you had Tadashi Fuse, you had Paavo Tikkanen, Eero Niemela, Jonas Emery. At one point, there was Litovara, Alexei Litovara, the pipe rider, insane pipe rider. Anyway, it was insane. I met Travis. Dude, it's crazy. I met Travis in Europe, and everybody's like, who's that kook, man? He was wearing the most whack shit back then and just be like, what the fuck? We're like, little did we know. And then he started riding. Not that time, but a couple years later, we saw him, and I'm like, oh my God. That guy was on a different path. We're like, what just happened to him? How the fuck did you get so good? I don't know. He just boosted. So yeah, so that was the team. But at first time, yeah. And then the Tadashi, that was at Le Diablerie in the pipe in the summer. So I would spend a lot of my summer in Europe because of Rossi, obviously, and doing summer camp on the glacier. And Tadashi had dreads. He had the longest dreads, and he was boosting in the pipe. I'm like, who's that guy? And then after that, yeah, they brought him on, and for the longest time, I think Tadashi couldn't speak a word English, man. It was so funny, man. But he was the best. Tadashi was the best, man. Like,
damn, because I think most people, when you think of Japanese and dreads, you're like Kazu Kokobo is the first person to do that, but it was actually Tadashi.
Yeah, Tadashi. Yeah, Tadashi's the first, man, to break out of, to come here. And I mean, there was other people. There was Ryo that was very good. That was a local here. But I mean, Tadashi was on a different, he was after, and it's just different trajectory.
I always considered Tadashi the Japanese Devin Walsh.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, I saw some stuff of that kid that was like, what the fudge, man? This kid is just landing on bolt, like all the time, like in powder, like not moving. Boom. I'm like, how do you do that? What? He was doing sensei and just yoga and just like, man, it was insane.
Was he actually doing a lot of yoga back then?
Yeah. He was doing a lot of meditation and stretching, a lot of stretching. Like, he would wake up at 6 and stretch and stuff like that. And yeah, really Japanese style, everything. Yeah, he was partying, but he was partying at some point, but then when it was serious, he was serious.
Yeah, the first time I ever really got a glimpse into that world is I moved into Sean Pettit's house.
Yeah.
And Pettit had John Jay and Eric Jackson stayed with us.
Yeah.
John Jackson and the two Jackson brothers. We were all going sledding in the morning. Sean going heliing, John going out with a crew, a different crew, Eric going out with a crew, and it was like I was just starting to get out there, and I was going with my crew.
Yeah.
Well, with the Man Boys, and John and Eric were up. They stayed at the house for like a week or 2 or 3 or I don't remember, a long time, long enough that I was like, John and Eric are staying in this house. Like, fuck, those are my heroes. They would get up so fucking early and do like an hour stretch routine together, like deep yoga, like I would be like making food and I would be like, what up, John? And you could see he's like, don't fucking talk to me right now. Like, I'm in the zone. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was like, whoa, like in order to like, I think like if you want to be like that good at your craft, you like what you put in is what you get out.
Yeah.
And like I was like, damn, if John Jay's doing this, like that must be the answer. Yeah. And then you see his footage now and you're like, dude's got it figured out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just...
And Eric, fucking the Jackson brothers.
Yeah, those guys are freaking on a different level. So nice too. Yeah, so nice.
I'm gonna U-ball here back to what was the first video I saw you in, Simple Pleasures.
Yeah.
What was it like to get the nod from MacDog back in the day to be involved in that movie, and how did that come to be?
Okay, so if I go back, I think I go back to going to Hood in the summer, and I think Kurt Heine was a filmer for MacDoc, and he's the reason I started filming for them. Because I was at Hood, and he saw me, and he came to me, talked to me, and we kind of hit it off. He's, he's a rocker, and I was a rocker, and we had a lot of things in common and stuff like that. He was a pro snowboarder, ex-pro anyway, and then I think he called me up. He's like, "Yeah, you want to come back, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna shoot." And I started doing all those trips to Hood in the spring. Going to his house, staying with him. And then we would start sledding also with him. We would go to Mount St. Helens, Adams, and build quarter pipes. And it was amazing. I think it was the first kind of, not maybe the first, but I was sledding, I think, on my own too. But we would go remotely, and then we would also shoot at Mount Hood. And I think the first, I can't remember was the first movie, but the first movie was all shot in Hood, and I had a couple tricks in it, whatever. I don't remember what I had, and then the second year, he's like, "Yeah, if you want to film with us," so we would go to Cook City, Wyoming, or Idaho, or
I think Wyoming.
Wyoming. So that's where all that stuff was filmed, was at Cook City.
Like in Simple Pleasures, the Cab 7 off the toes and stuff?
Yeah. That zone was amazing. So we just built cheese wedge after cheese wedge, and it was only us filming snowboarding. There was sledder, but they were staying in tracks. They were just following highways and stuff, and we would go off the piste and find jumps. And he's the reason why, I got a break with MacDoc. And Cynthia Schott was the photographer, and she was his girlfriend at the time. And she was working for Transworld. So she's the one that shot pretty much all my interview and my cover of Transworld, I think. Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
I feel like I hear Kurt Heine's name come up a lot. Yeah. I feel like he deserves some flowers.
Oh, fuck. He deserved a lot, man. He did so much. That guy did so much for the sport and for me. And he was, he was awesome, man. He always keen on working and going further and just like exploring and stuff. And yeah, really liked him. And I haven't heard of him, like what he's doing now in a long time. I should reach out actually and see what he's up to.
All right. Now, before we derail into a different section and before I bring up a Patreon question, is there anything else from that era before 99 that comes into your mind that's of significance that you would like to share? And I bring that up as like a little bit of a freedom to speak on your career at that point, because it's before my time.
Well, what I remember is just back then, everything was we were like rock stars, just going places and just, like you would go to Japan and people were just a fan there. They were crazy, man, for us. Just like, I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. And just going places and always on someone else's tab. Like, let's go. Yeah, for sure. Champagne, let's go. Just dinner, man. Like, just living the life, man. Like, it was the best. Honestly, the 90s were just like, it's a blur for sure. But a lot of people, like, lived through the 90s. And for me, I think the 90s were probably the best, not the best, but everything was just going so fast, and the level of snowboarding was just, we were actually putting the block, the big block, the foundation. We're building the foundation of snowboarding in the 90s. I feel like everybody, and that was a good time, and like I said, the rock star-ish, like going to parties and just like, man, amazing. And the snowboarding was amazing, like Blackcomb. 98 was the best year I can remember here. Like from November to December, there was not one day that was not like 30 cm, 40 cm, 50 cm. We had to take a break. Like on a 40 cm because we were done. Like we've been snowboarding so much in a row. Every day, man, we're looking at this like, oh my God. It was just, and I was living in the creek. And it was just, it was the 8A, man, for me of snowboarding. Yeah.
You mentioned there the foundation. The way I look at it a little bit, just based off what you brought up there, is like you have people like you know, the first generation, like your Terry Kidwells and stuff that like saw like at the plot of land and cleared the trees.
Yeah.
And then the 90s for me, like you said, is like you built the pyramid, the base.
Yeah.
I feel like we continually have built off of that in a healthy way for a long time. But for me, as somebody who's such a fan of what your generation and all those people have helped create, and when I see certain things, like you go on YouTube, I feel like is the best platform right now, where there's so many people who have created these social media snowboard companies that have nothing to do with that foundation.
Yeah, I mean, again, it sucks because it's for sure it sucks, but at the same time, it's like some people are just business. They want money, the fast money, in and out. Like you look at Jamie Salters, what he's doing. Like he doesn't give a fuck about snowboarding. He just wants his pocket, and he's killed so many cool brands, right? That's my perception. Maybe the guy is good at, I don't know, but he's been doing it since the 90s, man. He's been in it and he's doing it again and stuff like that. And for him, it's like, it's a business. And for us, it's hard because it's our life. He's kind of messing with our lifestyle, and so we're like, we want to protect that for sure. And it sucks, but at the same time, we live in a free world. There's not much you can do. I think what we can do is keep pushing what snowboarding and how rad it is and why you should join us and why you should be doing all those cool stuff. And the reason why we have those podcasts to inform people that, hey, this is, if you want to be part of this, do it right. And it's going to be way, way better than just come in, get your cash and get out. And obviously it's hard to see, not to see or to say, but again, to me, I'm like, I don't want to waste my energy on all the losers out there and start ramming about them. I know where I'm going to go, and I want to spend my energy doing that.
Yeah, at the beginning, you said something about like don't waste your energy on that type of shit. You know what I mean? Like you are in control of what you give your mind.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna get all mad that all these snowboard companies are popping out of nowhere. I'm talking to myself included in this because sometimes I do, and I'm like, it shouldn't be like that. But I'm like, wow. And I don't even mean to sound like an old head. It's just, I just care about, like, I don't care if you're, Burton or 686 or all these different companies. To me, you're all under the same umbrella. Yeah. You're all fighting the same fight. You know what I mean? And it's a good fight, and the bickering there is healthy. But like a company like Dope Snowboard, they're out, not Dope Snowboards from Squamish, but like at Dope Outerwear, which is maybe the first big company to take up probably like 30% of the market share in like selling outerwear, them and like Montec. And it's like, you started from being an Instagram algorithm company. You didn't come from any of this, or you didn't come from the world I came from. And that's fine. But my favorite thing, to go back to the Martin thing and going to his like celebration and his hang because he's got stage 4 cancer and we want to beat this shit to a pulp is the community. Yeah. And it's worth fighting for what we got going over here. So it is okay to be a little protective of it, Jody. Okay. But like to a point.
Yeah, but I'm gonna throw the ball at you, but look at what they did. They saw a market that no one had tapped in.
Oh, it's genius as far as capitalizing.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
It's like, look at all of us. We could have done it. Like what?
Yeah, like photo saturation, blue and red through the roof.
So, can you? I know what you're saying, but at the same time, they're like, look at this. There's snowboarding, it's transitioning, and everything is here. Oh, there's a market here. Oh, the market is that big. Wow. We could, instead of, like in there, they're going direct, so they don't, it makes their margins so much better. Mm-hmm. So they just, it is the way it is. And I think there was a mountain bike company at one point that did that, and people were so pissed, but it's inevitable. People are...
It's inevitable.
Yeah, inevitable.
I agree with you. It's just that for me, no, it sucks to a point, but it's fine. But maybe by them existing, it only makes things that we're doing as a community even more special.
Okay, Are they giving back to snowboarding? That's my question.
Well, they did start, I think, a couple years ago. I think they, from probably, some backlash, I think they backtracked and they were like, oh, we got to sign some people. So I think they have people on their team now because they're like, oh shit, like we do need to legitimize this fucking thing. But it started from not being legitimate.
And that's the thing. If you look at those companies and they're not putting anything back, whatever it's ski or snowboard, and that's like become, you're like, well, this is not the way, it's not the cool way, not the cool way, but this, if you want to be part of this and the community, it's not, and probably they don't, but you should, I feel 100% that you should, if you're coming into snowboarding, whatever you put in, you should, whatever you sell, you should put back into whatever it's marketing or whatever it's riders or whatever it's a contest, sponsoring an event and stuff like that. You need to put back. So I would say to those guys to do stuff like put back money into snowboarding or in skiing if you are, whatever.
I think they are as of late, but I look at like the only way you can sponsor the right things is to hire the right people. Mm-hmm. And so people for me is such a big part of if you have a cool brand. Like if you have a snowboard section and a snowboard department of your company, that department should be snowboarders. 100%. If you have a skateboard department, it should be skateboarders. Yeah. And you can tell quickly when you're working for anybody who doesn't have that department because you don't speak the same language. And language is such a big thing. It's like, if you're hiring like a real estate agent, you can tell within a couple phone calls if you're in that world, whether they're in that world or they're faking it. Yeah. And a quote that I've heard lately and I've been using, and I don't want anyone else to use it because it's so good, but you can't fucking fake the funk. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can't fake the funk. You're either fucking part of snowboarding or you're not. Yeah. I think my homie Will said that to me the other day, and I was like, dude, that quote just stuck with me. Like, there's so many companies that are trying to be X, Y, and Z. Yeah. But it's like young kids, like your daughters, aren't fucking stupid. They can see through the bullshit. Yeah, yeah. And so hopefully, with all that said, people want to buy, a Wildcats board and, listen to this podcast. But I mean, through people listening to this, it is hopefully inspiring people to be like, you know what, I'm going to do a little bit of homework based on like what I'm purchasing and digesting. Because, it is special when you do get sick or something happens to you and a community comes together to do whatever they can to help you. Yeah. 100%. And that in itself is what makes it so special to me. Like if people are like, oh yeah, well, who cares? Let everybody just do anything. And it's like, well, if everybody just does everything for a cash grab and the community element is gone, wait till everyone gets sick and nobody cares because all everyone's trying to do is make money off of each other.
And you lose everything. It's done.
That is true. All right. On a turning note here, something happened a long time ago.
Oh, shit.
And we got a Patreon question. And I just want to shout out the Patreons for supporting the show. At this point, the show would not be what it is today without you. So thank you for supporting the show. All of your money, every dollar, and including all my money, goes into the show and adding new elements to it, whether that's airtime TV or getting enough budget to pay filmers and hopefully post-production people and new cameras, etc. So your money is not going towards me doing anything stupid and you're like, what, you bought a new TV? No, my TV sucks. I didn't get a new TV. But thank you for supporting the show. We got a question here from none other than the legend, Lane Knack. Lane says, first off, the Wildcats movies rivaled Whitey's for the greatest of all time. When and how did all you Frenchies link up, and how did the rest of the crew come to be? How did the Wildcats start up?
All right, that's a good question. And I think Devin went a bit into it, but I'll go a bit deeper. Obviously, like the Wildcat, it started a bunch of friends wanting to have a good time. And I remember we were filming, I was filming with MacDog, Devin as well, and we were doing a lot of serious stuff, like, what they put out. We didn't have a lot of say in what was coming out of the movie, the music a bit, but the editing or everything, like it was so serious, and it was awesome because it was regarded as one of the best production, if not the best for freestyle. So obviously, but there was always, the other side of it that we were not so down. And living here in the corridor, we would always meet each other and stuff like that, and then we started creating a bond of friends, and I think it happened through Iris. I started writing for Iris with and Iris. Devin was part owner. There was Dion on there. There was Browner. There was Dion Browner. Kale was on there. Joel Mahaffey. Mikey LeBlanc was on there. And one of the early trip, we did the trip together, and it just went to, it was in a video. I think it was in the first Little Bastard video, and pulling pants, and Mikey wanted to fight everybody. Just everybody, like, it was off the hook. And so it kind of started there, the all friends having good time snowboarding, and then at night letting loose. Then, hanging out, doing photo shoot with Iris, and just being more involved with them and getting to know more the guys, like Dion, the City Boys, Devon, and me being up here and stuff like that, and traveling and hanging out more together, going to Seymour. And I think where it's all really started is like, it was at Seymour, and we were doing like either snowboarding, but if it was, low cloud, you couldn't see, we would dig snow caves. And we would just party, like get beers and just party in the snow cave, hoping that the clouds were fucking pass. And then we're drinking Wildcat beer, Wildcat Strong right here, And then we start drinking that, and then we start flipping, and we started putting the name. Hey, are you going to do a Wildcat? Probably someone did a backflip with a beer in the end, and it's like, oh, cool, let's do it again. And so we start calling a Wildcat because of the beer and all. And that's how it kind of started. It was really organic because of the beer, right? Super organic. And then we just, kept hanging together and doing more trips, going to San Diego. And the cool thing back then is San Diego was all where the premieres were. So you would go there in the fall and just go there and not even snowboard, because no snowboard in San Diego, but just get there, see all the latest. There was Magdog, and then there was Whitey was doing that a bit there, and then Standard was always the second movie, or maybe. Anyway, it was all the time, and we start traveling there, coming back, and then we start just going to Devon's. We had a place at the base of Seymour, so we would always pile at his house, party. Man, it was insane. Like everybody cooking food, and all the scene of the videos, a lot of that's at Devon's. A lot of it was happening at Devon, and after that, at Devon, and then I was living in Whistler still, but traveling there, staying for like 3, 4, 5 days at the time at his house, and it was in and out. Like it was awesome. And we'd go up, shred, come down, and then as the crew became bigger, we just like anyone that we would really hang out with, that we would love, and they kind of vibe with us, they were part of the Wildcat. You know what I'm saying? So that's when the Mikey Rants come in play. That's when the Benji came in play, and Gaetan, all those guys, because we're all hanging together and snowboarding together and partying together, and then Cashin, Browner, all those guys, man. So Trevor was, part of it, but we wouldn't be like, okay, you're part of the Wildcat. It's just your entourage. And we're all hanging together and then shooting stuff together. It was all the time. And then after that, we decide to do merch. So.
And the merch took off, because as a kid in Winnipeg, like my closest friend growing up, Jesse Walker, who's running a snowboard shop back home in Winnipeg, 204 Skate Shop, just shout them out right now. He was one of the first in Winnipeg that was like head to toe Wildcats, like Wildcat belt buckle, Wildcats hoodie, Wildcat shirt, Wildcats sticker on his board. And like I was a fan, but he was the one who sold me on the ethos and everything. And then later meeting like someone like Andrew Jeeves, who was obsessed with the Wildcats, and we weren't friends with them yet, but everybody I met in Winnipeg that was kind of the finger on the pulse advocate for snowboarding, that was the kid who got it.
Yeah.
Like it in quotations, like you just get it, was fucking decked in Wildcat shit.
Yeah.
Like you were like,
Dude,
it was crazy.
It was crazy how good it was. And obviously, we started video as well, right? We started making movies and then the merch. And then I think Wildcat could have been so big, but we were just a little shit and we did some very bad business. We didn't, if I knew what I know now, and I would have been back then, dude, it would have been different. But the way it happened is like, Dow was the editor, amazing editor back then. He was our editor and, movie. And then the clothing start and Devin put so much money into Wildcat, and he lost a lot. I put a bunch of money. I lost a lot. Everybody, like Brown or Kill, a lot of people lost a lot of money, crazy money. And then, but we didn't care back then. We're like, oh, fuck, who cares, man? 20 grand, let's go. I'm in, because we knew. But the problem with that is it was going crazy up, and the people were asking about it. And we couldn't, I was snowboarding all the time. Devin was snowboarding all the time. We couldn't run a company back then. So we hired someone to run the company for us. And we're paying him a good salary, which I'm looking back and we shouldn't have done it differently. But anyway, to make a story short, he had a good salary. And at one point, we ran out of money because we're paying a salary and then we have to pay for our production. And we never thought we had to, when you're, so we're like, okay, we just spend, I don't know, 80 grand for you or 60 grand for you. And then now we have to pay 250 grand and so we owed a lot of people money, like distributors. So it was not pretty. It was shitty, but I wish it was different. But man, we were just busy snowboarding and having the best time of our life. So it's like, the guy was older than us and we're like, he used to manage a shop. So we gave it to him and we're like, oh, he's like, yeah, we can do this. I can do that for you guys. And then, 6 months later, hey, I need more money. And we're like, no, what do you mean you need more money? We just gave you so much money. Well, we need to pay me and I need to do this. Anyway, there was a bunch of little shady things. If you ask Dion and me, and just a bit shady stuff that happened. But you know what? Now that I look at it, it's our fault. It was our company. We should have take care of it more. We should have be more involved in knowing the numbers but we were just on a different, we were, like I said, rock star traveling the world. So that's our fault.
To somebody who's starting a business or wanting to start a business, what are some maybe key pieces of advice you would give them?
Well, it's obviously you have to work your ass, so hard, and you have to, you have to do everything yourself when you start. Like you can't hire employees. You need to know what you're doing a bit, and look it up and figuring out, production, shipping. There's costs. You can't just start a company without doing your research. There's always costs that are hidden that you don't know. So you want to be informed as much as you can, because when you're going in company, it gets real fast. Like shipping is expensive, like production is expensive, return is expensive. Like somebody's not happy with this shit, you have to send it back. You just lost money on that, like all the time. You hire someone to do your design and stuff. There's money going in and out, so you have to have a budget, and then as far as, okay, what's my projection? How is that going to work? What is it looking like at the end? Am I, and if you're making the numbers and you're figuring out that you're going to lose money, well, I would say don't start it. You know what I'm saying? But at first you have to put your sweat equity in it, and so having a second job or something is probably a good idea, right? So you can balance what you put in and stuff like that. And but yeah, it's a lot of work. Having a business, it's a lot of work, but it's rewarding at the same time. So educate, do a lot of research, and how you can balance a budget or figure out all that stuff.
I think we'll circle back to this a little bit later.
Yeah.
But here's some random questions I have directed to the Wildcats specifically to you. Who is the best snowboarder on the Wildcats?
That's going to be a hard one. I mean, Devin for sure. Dev was definitely the best, and he was so good at what he did. And that was the boss. Like, Dev always been the boss of the Wildcats kind of thing. He's the leader. He was the leader. So we were just like, following a leader.
I did speak to Devin, and I'm doing a little derail here, as you people can tell. I spoke to Devin. I spoke to Dion. And both of them mentioned leader about you. Dion specifically said that JF's always been a leader, someone that he's looked up to, always felt like he had a direction, maybe didn't know where he was going, but he was always willing to work insanely hard towards a general path. And he was like not afraid to put the extra effort in at all times. And he was like, whether it was in the backcountry, whether it was in his businesses or his day-to-day life or his relationship, it always just felt like you were just like working super hard. Devin also mentioned the same thing. He also mentioned that you were able to stomp anything, even if your knees went through your ears. And he said that you were incredibly good at transition and maybe even underrated. It seemed like he was saying. He was like, JF could ride transition with the best. And he said whenever it like really came down to like make or break situations, like the contest you were saying, he's like, you could really see the show that you could put on. I thought that was really cool. Little tidbits from two absolute legends. You were speaking on Devin there. Devin, why people know, I think people have an understanding, but from your perspective, riding with him, working with him, what made Devin such a great professional snowboarder?
Well, Devin was definitely, like I said, he had an eye for the backcountry. He had an eye for the backcountry that none of us, well, we did have it, but he was finding stuff when for us, maybe we looked and there was, I don't know, nothing. He could find just stuff, and he was a hard worker and also like super talented. His style was different, super, relaxed and just very... I think his style was speaking snowboarding, and it was speaking to a lot of people. And he was a very nice person, like you met Devin, super nice, super approachable. So I think the whole package of Dev was just not just his snowboarding, but it was who he was in real. So, and people wanted to be beside him because of that. And also he had the coolest freaking sponsors. Think about it, man. How could you not want to be beside the Devin that had the sickest sponsor and just traveling with him and just, it was fun, man. And I think Dev was, like I said, we would go places and Dion would call me, "Did you know what Devin did?" I'm like, "No, I don't know." It's like, he did this and he did that. And he was always coming with story of Devin, like the road gap, the early road gap. And do you know what he did? Like switch back. Holy shit. And we were just like, what? And then you see it the next year, like, what? And then you're like, okay, well, we got to keep up. But yeah, no, he
Gotta keep up.
Yeah, gotta keep up.
Totally.
So, but again, looking back at all this is like with the Wildcat and all that stuff, like, anyway, we don't have to go back, but it's just, for us, like, it was awesome because with the Wildcats, and the reason why it was so awesome is because what we're doing was so stressful, and going back with the homies was so relaxing, and just shooting around, just having a good time. And the reason why people were so loving it is because they saw us being real humans, and they could relate to that because we had people that were the top, and there was people that were not the top. And those guys were all mingling together and having a good time and showing what snowboarding is all about. So that was fucking awesome.
All right, who's the worst snowboarder on the Wildcats?
Oh, shit. The worst. I don't think there's... I'm going to be eternally silent on that one.
Who's the best sledder?
Best sledder of the Wildcat. Kale is definitely a freaking machine, I would say. Kale is good, but also he's all over the place. He's just Kale, man. The Kale show. It could be a show just for him. Honestly, that guy is next level. I think Kale was. Devin is very good, but he's really, he's not gonna mess around. He knows where to go, and he's. Yeah.
Kale's got his jacket open.
He's just going, wah, wah, and you're like, what the F you're doing, Kale? But he's just, full of energy.
Who's the worst sledder?
I don't know. It's not everybody that sled. Scott Surface, I don't think was a good sledder. He was part of the Wildcat at some point, I think. I don't know.
The cheeseburger machine.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
All right, who's the best partier and who's the worst partier?
I'm the best partier, I would say.
You definitely got the highest jump.
Yeah. The worst. I don't know if there's a worst.
I just mean who couldn't handle their liquor? You guys are fucking smashing back booze, let's be honest here.
Well, Devin passed out a lot. He could drink a lot, but he passed out a lot, if I remember. But he was not a bad drunk, Devin. I don't think any of us, honestly, the cool thing about the Wildcat, there was not really any bad drunk. Like, you have a friend that wants to fight everybody or just like, none of that was really happening in our crew. It was just funny stuff. And Cashin, maybe Dave Cashin was could be a bit of a wild drunk. I don't know. Dirty drunk. I don't know. Amazing.
Come on. He's a rapper.
Yeah. 2-6. Love the kid. Love you, Cashin.
I like that you're like, nobody's like fighting and stuff like that. But like Devin also told me a story of you guys partying at the MGM and you threw furniture off you guys were at the top floor of the MGM and you threw like an ottoman off the fucking.
Yeah,
that's like a 26-story building.
That was the Hard Rock Cafe. That was like $5.
No, we were chill though.
It was $5,000 off the window. It was a freaking expensive cow leather. I don't know what happened there.
It's not your fault. You're young and dumb.
That's right.
All right. Who had the biggest bill, or what was the biggest bill? Wildcats, come on.
I don't know. I think I've spent $5,000 in a bar maybe before. Or it's just like something like Devin spent a lot of money too. We would think of this. We would like wait till the last call not wait. We'd drink till last call, and last call would come, and I would either Dev or I would order like 20 or 30 CC and Coke at last call, and we were probably like 4 people, just like the full table is. Yeah, it's only liquor. And then we're like, okay, now we have a 30 minutes to finish all this. Let's go.
Do you regret that? Those you spend $5,000 at a bar, or Devin blows $10,000 here. Like, do you think you look back on those and regret those, or are you just living in the moment and just enjoying life? Or looking back now, are you like, fuck?
No, you can't do that because it's just part of what was happening. Of course, like back then, I didn't have kids. I didn't have a house. I was making a lot of money. Everybody was making a lot of money in the 90s. So it's like, again, you give back, right? It's all about giving back. So I give back a lot of times.
You kind of the Wildcats rolled with such a big entourage where it's like, I always think about like making it that like, if airtime ever gets to the point, I would love to be able to do that. Drinks on me, but you actually can kind of afford it because you're making. Well, if you guys were making 100 to 200 grand back then or whatever. For today's dollars, that's like 200 to 400 grand. It's like, dude, you're making 400 grand. Like, maybe buy some of your homies some drinks who are like fucking, I don't know, doing like, don't go overboard, but it isn't, as long as you're doing it to people that also like to some degree are thankful for it. You know what I mean? Because the wrong entourage could actually be kind of annoying. And did you guys ever feel like that? Did you guys ever get trapped with some people that you feel like were kind of just like leeches that were, Devin's going to be there. Maybe I can get like a hotel and like he'll buy us drinks all night. And then you're like, hey, you know what, Timmy, you got to fucking go, dude.
Yeah, I'm sure it happened and they wouldn't stay too long. Like that would be, because I'm sure it happened a couple of times, but yeah, it would. I think we would have, if for what I remember, you would just pinpoint that moment and just either be out of there or just not interact with that person or whatever.
Yeah, fuck you, Timmy.
That's right.
What's your favorite Wildcats movie?
I don't know, man. It's so long ago.
Well, it wasn't Diary.
No, that was no. We used to call it diarrhea.
I remember being such a fan, and it was the first video I bought of the Wildcat.
Return of the Wildcat, maybe, I don't know.
That one was good.
Yeah, I mean,
Blackout
had
some good
Blackout
sections.
was sick. Yeah. I love the bonuses.
No, that was the Wildcats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're kind of it's already a bonus feature movie.
Yeah,
it's already like you're getting the bonus features when the movie plays.
That's what was good about it. But
What was a standout party that you remember of the Wildcats?
Oh, there's so many.
Was there one that you were like, oh my God, we rented a fucking mansion and...
Well, just to give you a bit of context, is back in the days, all the trade show, there was trade show. So to give people a bit of an idea, is like every year in order to sell your gear, let's say your brand would go and meet with other brands and they would show what would be on sale next fall, right? And the buyer would come to this and they would be like, okay, I like this. I want to, like you have an order form and you take notes and you go back home and you make that order. So it's like, but back then, all the trade show were in Las Vegas. So imagine, it was a pretty big debauchery because you could drink anywhere and stuff. And I remember, I might talk about a couple years in one, but I remember going there and we would all go there. So they would always invite the pros to be there. So they, there's a scene there, right? And they're just not product. It's not just product, but there's also, oh, look, Devin's here. It was here. Look at those guys, this is our team and they're here. So just to entice the buyer to buy from us. And I remember a couple of years that we were, beside us was the porn convention. Right beside us in the same building. So there was a lot of cross-border. We wouldn't there was a lot of girls coming and walking and just black flies. I don't know if you remember black flies.
The goggles?
Yeah, the goggles. And black fly was all into like that crazy fucking bondage and just like girls walking like almost naked and just, so the whole show was girls like walking in high heels, like nothing on, and just like, it was the heydays, man. We were like, yeah, let's go party. And I think I remember going like, and your brand or whatever, your team manager would be like, yeah, tonight we're going to the Peelers. Like, it's on me. Like, we're going to spend and you guys don't have to pay anything. And us, we like, I remember the Wildcat, we're not really into it, but we're like, we're going to get free drinks and stuff like that. And remember Kale was there and it was a big night and we went to the strip club and I think Kale spent 36 hours in the strip club. I think I spent 24 hours there. Something insane.
Eating steak, don't even remember it.
Dude, there was food. It was like, I remember. Kale
24 hours?
Yeah.
You take a nap anywhere?
No, you're just like, you're partying and just drinking, slow drinking, watching, and just people are coming in and out and just like, it was crazy, man. It was so crazy. And yeah, and then I I don't know who I was, but I went out of the bar and the bar, and I had to go back to my hotel, and then I had the idea of it was the Treasure Island, that was the casino. I had the great idea, and then I saw them during the day, and there was a live show. There's a boat and there's pirates and they're jumping in water, and so I start climbing the wall. And then I was about to jump in the water. I don't know why I was then. And I got security got us, and they fingerprint us. They take picture of us, and we were freaking banned from that casino for life.
Treasure Island.
Treasure Island. I don't even know if it still exists, but yeah, I'm not going back there.
Why do you think the trade show died? And was the trade show important to snowboarding?
I think, yeah, it was important and early on, but the problem, I think, that we were on a different time frame. Like, it was too far in the season, like, and it was very expensive. And that's in the heyday, like, it was great because people had money, but the more we did it, it became such an expense for brands. We had to save, and I think it got smaller, and then they moved it to Denver. And Denver had the show, and then everybody was bummed because Denver is not Las Vegas, right? But at least they had an on-snow part of it. You could go try the boards, which made way more sense, right, when you're looking at everything. But I think now it's a bit different, but it was important at some point. But everything moved, and the timeline moved of when the snowboards have to be in shop and when they get shipped, because you want to have the biggest window to sell that product. You want September to December, because when December 25th hits, it's over. You know what I'm saying? Like, you discount. So it's all the timeline and stuff. But yeah, it was important back then for sure. Super important.
And kind of after and during the Wildcats, or definitely during your film, you're kind of juggling two projects. Like, a lot of you, like the Whiteout started. Where did Whiteout start from? And that was kind of a collection of you guys. And yeah.
Whiteout started because Dow was like a wildcat, and he started filming and editing, and that's how it just, like I said, it started like that. And then the more we wanted to do that, and I think Whiteout became more serious at one point, and it was an avenue for people that maybe couldn't film with the biggest could come in and have a part with us. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they couldn't film for the Mag Dog because it was full or whatever, or the Whitey, so yeah, it worked out very good, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you brought on a lot of up and comers. Like, throughout the years, the Wildcats. Like, if you got the stamp and then you were in the Wildcats movie, it seemed like the coming years, a lot of those people would be in like a big film within a couple years just from that stamp.
Yeah. Yeah, there was the Benji was in there, Tadashi was in it, Arrow, like all those younger kids, and yeah, it was a pretty cool project for sure.
Do you ever feel like you kind of overshot like the Wildcats? You know how the whiskey generation, you hear Kearns, you hear Johnson speak on those times, they're like, yeah, it got like too fucking crazy. Do you think that like you guys embodied the ethos of what Wildcats was, and at one point you guys were like, holy fuck, like, we can't keep drinking like this, like year 6, like...
The crazy thing about the Wildcat is we were not drinking all the time. We were just... And people, I don't know, like what I'm saying
could have fooled me.
Well, I mean, we were definitely partying, but we were still snowboarding and being serious about it, and we couldn't do that because it didn't work, right? But definitely in the off time and the premiere season, it's the fall, so we were going bananas. But when snow flied, we were doing our thing really seriously, but we would get together and film stuff or being on trips. But like, I think the way, if I look back, and to me, I never really had a problem with that. Like, I love drinking, but at the same time, I love not drinking.
Balance.
So it's balance. It's all about the balance. And like most of us, like if I still remember, most of us were not into drugs. Like, I mean, things could have changed over time, but all the Wildcats were not. No one, like, I've never done cocaine ever in my life, ever. and I don't think Devon ever had, or Dion and a lot of people. So we're not gathering and doing drugs. Yeah, people were smoking here and there and stuff, but maybe I didn't see it, but I didn't care. Like, I knew what I wanted to do, but we were not like, how can I say that? We're like just balance again. Not doing too much, but when we're going, doing it a lot, but then you take a break and just come back and just do your stuff and go back and go ham. And today, still to this day, I think I kind of live my life like that. And I like to take breaks and not drink and just feel good. And just sometimes you want to just have a good time with some friends and just, reunion. You meet someone or you've seen someone you haven't seen and you just go bananas, and it is what it is. And I don't know. It's hard to say. It's like, for me, I had the balance. Some people, and I'm saying to the kids, I don't think that it's the avenue to go and do, but some people, for us, it worked.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a way to navigate life, and that is like the variety is the spice of life. You know what I mean? And for me, I just like did some traveling with my wife. We go over to Europe, and you meet new people, and you have their thing is to drink, grappa or their homemade wine, and it's like it's a fun evening to like break down some layers. And alcohol, the one benefit of alcohol is that within a short time period, you all loosen up and you get to know each other, like the truth juice. Yeah. Is that what you were calling it yesterday?
The truth juice. That's Devon. Devon told me that because I was texting him and I showed him the Wildcat pack, and he's like, true juice. Yeah,
because it is. We all know that everybody is such a unique person that alcohol or smoking weed or cigarettes or drugs, like nothing is designed like it fits for one person. You know what I mean? No. Like from my experience, no one is going to win the game of doing cocaine. Yeah. As somebody who's almost 40 now and has multiple friends and family members and stuff that have gotten into that, it's almost like a casino. You know what I mean? Like the house always wins.
Yeah, the house always wins.
The house always wins. And so to anyone listening to this, like, alcohol is the same thing though for certain people. Yes. Certain people can't drink alcohol because it's similar to like a drug or anything else where they become reliant on it. Yeah. But for most of the population, most people are able to go out on Friday, have a couple beers with their friends and turn it off and then focus Monday to Friday. Yeah. But I also think that being a podcast in action sports, and there's so many people who are listening to this that are either struggling with addiction or have lost friends to addiction and stuff, is just like, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. Yeah. And the way to see if it's working for you is look in the mirror and don't fucking lie to yourself. Like, when it's just you in your house, are you happy with the way you're navigating life? Like, as somebody who drinks occasionally, I can give myself a thumbs up. But there's been points in my life when I was a lot younger where I was like, no, like it's a thumbs down. Like, and I knew that I wasn't having fun. Yeah. So don't fucking lie to yourself. You know what I mean? And the hardest thing is like, you need to surround yourself with people that are on that same program. And you saying that you were filming and hanging out with all of your friends, the Wildcats, and you guys, as much as when you guys like to fucking give her and smash back some drinks, you guys all collectively were not doing drugs and were able to turn off when it was time to focus, whether it was with your family or your job or your career, like, and look at where you guys are now, like Dion, you, Devin, Dow, all these people who've gone on to do incredible things. Yeah. It's just like there's a time and a place for celebration. I'm not saying it's for everybody. Some people shouldn't drink at all, but like look yourself in the mirror and be honest.
Yeah, and don't just do it because you want to be cool, or that's the thing, like you got to like again, it's like everybody's different with anything in life, so it's if it doesn't fit for you or it's not you, then stay away from it. And we don't we never pressure anyone to drink or it's not about that. It's about this is what we do, and we love to have fun, and because we needed to decompress from the busy life and the crazy thing, and that's what the Wildcat was. It's just an avenue to be with your homies, decompress, have a good time, chill, and like I said, you say, was there any bad drunk? And to me, I don't remember. Everybody was funny or just having a good time. Like, it's just, it's just, I don't know. So.
In 2025, though, the year that we're in right now, drugs are just like, they're way more like prevalent. You know what I mean? It's just like, people have they've been around since the 70s, but it's just a lot more like, music and movies and stuff have just made them seem so
Cool.
like normal and
so
cool and glamorized.
Yeah.
And as somebody who's lost 3 people to addiction,
Yeah.
like I'm like, it's not cool. You know what I mean? So do you live your life? I don't like being the person that tells people what to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're genuinely looking at yourself in the mirror and you're having a good time, awesome, enjoy the ride or whatever. But for me, a lot of those paths don't end super well.
Yeah.
For me personally, I've had a healthy relationship to drinking alcohol. Not everybody has that, but with drugs specifically, I think that the chemical compound in that is different, and it's designed for it to like outbeat your willpower, kind of.
And that's something I told the girls at really, really early age. I say, stay away from anything you're putting in your nose, or just like, pills, or just like stay with something that's, if you're gonna experience, just things that are organic.
I agree.
Just stay like that. You're gonna have a better. And it's not good for your brain. You're developing your brain. It's like, stay away from till you're older if you have to. Like it's. Yeah. So it's like.
It's that's a great piece of advice, but maybe we're down a deep dark hole and we don't want to bum anybody out.
No, we don't want to bum, because this is about the Wildcats having fun. So there you go. If it's not for you, stay away. Otherwise, join us.
You've ventured off since, though. There was a point where your career kind of stopped. It almost seemed like you just stopped filming. How did the end happen for you, and was that a hard time for you? Because there was a transition period before you come bursting back through the door with the invention of now.
Yeah, I think it was around 2007, 8, I think, or somewhere around there. And I knew, so a lot of things happened at Rosie, a lot of change. They got sold to the Quicksilver Group. And then things started to change. And I could see the writing on the wall there. They moved everything into the U.S. They bought they built a big place and new team manager, and laid off my team manager that was very close, and offered me a contract. I don't know if that's at that time, but I think some of my last contract was okay, and then at the last they're like, "Oh, we're gonna give you this," and I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, you know what? I had a good run, good time. I think it's time for me to look into something else. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe I could go and ask for more, or not ask for more, but go hit up companies and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, I need to put a challenge in my life and figure out something else. And I had, I've worked on product all through my career about snowboards and bindings and stuff. And I had I started playing with the bindings around 2000, and then applied for a couple patents around 2004 or 5, and then got them granted in 2007. And then I think around 2007, 2008, I built a Whistler house. Yeah, 2008 to 2010. To go back to you, was it hard? Yes, it was hard. It was hard. Very hard, because I was letting go something that I knew for the past 15 years or whatever, that I love to do and be part of it. But at the same time, I'm like, I know, because before my career, I worked, and I worked very hard. I knew that whatever I was going to do, if I put my head towards it and, down, I knew I could do something. Like, I was not afraid of working. So what I did is I did a reno on my house in 2008. So technically build a new house. And then after that, I started doing renovation for people with Jeff Giasson, snowboarder, and Dom Gauthier, DOMG. And so they were living in a house on Mountain View Drive, and they were getting kicked out because the new owner wanted to do a renovation. So I said to them, I said, well, why don't we pitch to him that we're going to do the reno and then we're going to have it work. And they're like, whoa, that's freaking good idea. I say, and then we'll take my house as the spec house to show them what we can do. So at the end, it was between Russians and ourselves, the French Quebecois. And the guy came to my house, and he was he was a Brit, super cool guy. We got along so well, showed him the house, showed him what we could do. And then he's like, yeah, I'm going to hire you guys. So we did a $1.4 million reno on his house, and I was the project manager. I did everything, like order everything, change everything in his house because everything was a special beam that we had to cap it, and you had to cap it after with drywall. And I said, no, let's put exposed beam everywhere. And then JF was very good in doing pegs, like the wood that goes in pegs, like you. I don't know. It's like, I don't know what you call that, but it's beams that fits in beam and you put a peg through it. Like that type of thing. Like he'd done that before. So he's like, let's do this here. And so I changed a bit of that and order. And then I had a bunch of people working for me. Ben Billock worked for me. Jess Kimura worked for me at some point, doing all the grunt work. And and so we were there for, I think, almost 2 years, year and a half, 2 years. Got super close with the guy, having good times with him, and then so that's the transition where I was doing that, but I still really I was still trying to sell my idea, my patent. So I think in 2008 again, I was close to Devon. So Devon had tried my prototype that I made, and he was like, holy crap. I went up with Devon one time. I said, okay, Devon, take 2 of the same board, and we mount a pair of Burton on one board, pair of bindings, and I put the prototype on the other board. So we kept exchanging boards, and whoever had my board, my bindings was just like ripping way harder, way more responsive, and having just tooling around way funner. So he's like, oh my God, this is insane. And he was at DC, so he got me talking to DC, and it was going to happen with DC. And then I don't know, again, something happened at DC, and I think it was going down again, and they sold. At one point they sold, and so like the team manager out and the guy that wanted the product out. So I was like, missed a chance again. And around 2010, I had the Yes guys in my garage partying like all night, and I showed them my prototype. We went the next day riding, and they're like, oh my God, we just signed with these guys called Nidecker. I'm like, I know Nidecker. I was like, we're gonna talk to them about maybe using bindings and stuff, like your technology. So they were the door into Nidecker. Damn. The Yes guys, Romain, JP, and DCP. So start talking to Nidecker, and then showed them my patent, my prototype, met with them, and then we launched and start the company in 2010, I believe, and first binding on the market in 2012. Yeah.
Wow, it really is a story of, don't fucking quit, like you get fucking shut down hard, like the DC
I got
thing.
shut down so
I'm imagining you got shut down more than once.
I cried, man. I was like, put so much effort, and I was not like making a lot of money, and just, it was hard. Like, you're coming from snowboarding, making so much money, then you're going labor job. Like, I was making good money, but like not what I was making before. And then like losing that deal with DC, because it was happening for sure. They even gave me some money. Just, we're going to give you $5,000 here because we want to do business with you just till we settle everything. And then crickets. I'm like, what's going on? Like, I'm calling. And then finally I heard that they got sold, and shit is getting all reshuffled, and bye-bye. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I went to Burton. I approached Burton with my idea. I went to K2 ride. Burton and Union. And they all look at it, say, oh, that looks good. But they all turned me down. Not turned me down. They didn't want it. Burton straight tell me, he's like, we never buy really things from other people. We have engineer. Like, why'd you make me come to Vermont then? Right? I'm like, whatever. So, yeah. And then after that, that's how it started with Nightiger.
And did you have daughters at this time when they kind of said no and stuff?
No, not yet, because Juliette was born in 204. Yeah. No, so I had a house.
204, what does that mean?
That's when she was born.
204?
204, 2004.
2004 she was born.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I'm wrong. You're right. They must have been, yeah. Because it's happening in 208. And she's born in 204. Yeah, they were alive.
Yeah, and young too. So there's probably
Holy.
some stress on the plate there that you probably blacked out.
Holy crap. Yeah. Big blacked out. Yeah. So 208, yeah, Juliette's born in 204. Yeah.
I mean, that's a piece of business advice there that's not overlooked, but it just needs to be hammered into people. Myself, there's so many people that are, doesn't matter what you're doing, you can't give up. Because when I was doing some of the worst jobs I've ever done, I remember I was moving these pallets and they were soaking wet, and there was just a fuck ton of pallets, and it was pouring rain. And the season was about to start, and I had no fucking money. The year before, I invested more. I was like, "This is my year. I'm going to put all of my money in. I'm going to go to Hood. I'm going to spend all." And then I worked, and then it just the sponsor deals didn't come through, and then a couple things just fell apart. It might have been around the time that DC did that same thing to you, and I got let go.
Yeah, I think that's around the same time.
And I was like, oh no, there goes my whole world. And I remember that was the lowest day of my life, I think. I remember moving those fucking pallets, and something in me was just like, well, there's this weird thing where I'm from Winnipeg and I just really fuck with 50 Cent. And I'm like, my dad was such a hard worker, and I know my grandfather was, and I just whenever life just sucks and you just gotta work, I'm just like, yeah, you just gotta fucking grind through this shit. It really does. It builds so much character in those moments of it defines you. You know what I mean? When your fucking idea gets fucking shut down in your face, and you got fucking, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and you're like, I'm not making $100,000 anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't want to fucking, if you genuinely don't want to do the job that you're doing, then something needs to change. So if the change is probably you got to put even more effort into that thing to get out of that thing.
Yeah.
Which is wild to think. Most people who are doing a job that they hate, the only way to get out of it is to get enough that you can get or to work and then do stuff above and beyond when you get home. But the only way to get out of that is to go the extra mile.
Yeah. And obviously, I think on thinking back now, and I think that was when DC, I heard the news. I think I was pretty, very, very low. But the thing is, again, I'm I was super low, but then I'm like, oh, you know what? Whatever, man. I know I can work with my hands, and I can build, and I can do stuff. So I was bummed, but then I'm like, hey, I'm working with, the cool thing is I was working with my friends. Again, I was building stuff with my friends and taking one project at a time. You go to work and you're, hey, Ben is there, Ben Billock, JF was there, Jess, and all a bunch of snowboarders. So going to work was fun. And I didn't mind it, actually. I didn't mind. And then one point, things happen. You keep putting in your, that energy out about your project and stuff, and you talk to people, and it happened. And amazing.
Were your friends and family supportive of this mission?
You mean snowboarding?
No, not of snowboarding, of the binding and the process it took to bring that to life.
Yeah, I mean, they were, because I was putting in a way where I said, hey, it's going to happen at one time. And patents are not cheap. So just so much money I spend, for patent. And yeah, my mom was for sure, not worrying, but she's like, hey, what's going on? A bit, and my dad he's on the East Coast. I don't think he was really, I didn't tell him everything, that was happening. Oh yeah, I'm still here. I'm doing my stuff. It's good. And my mom, was asking question a bit more, what you're doing. But I was with Christy and Christy had a good jobs, and we had the house, so things were not total chaos or total bad, but it's just I needed to get my duck in a row and figure out what was the next chapter. But also she knew that I could do renovation, and I was very good at managing project and stuff. So she was good.
That's a blessing to have your partner. You're able to lean on your partner in those times, because that role switches sometimes.
Oh, yeah, it does.
That person could be leaning on you for an extended period of time, and then when that role switches, it's so nice to be able to lean on your partner. And sometimes it'll be for finance, some things it'll be for other things. But I guess the reason why I asked, like, if your friends and family were supportive is I feel like some people have great ideas and ambitions and stuff, and sometimes your friends and family can almost be like the harshest when you bring up a new idea. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to work, or you can't do that, or like, you've never been smart at that. You've never been good with your hands. You can't start a construction company. You're better at just moving the pallets than you are to start your own thing. Yeah. But like, sometimes it is great to have friends and family support you, but sometimes you just need that inner, like, nah, I'm going to fucking do this.
Well, I think all my friends too, like, I mean, Devin was super supportive because he tried the binding. He know there was something there. And all my friends, they always saw me like at the house working on stuff, on bindings early on. So they knew I was interested in that, and they were definitely stoked. And when I told them, I was getting that, finally they were like, holy shit, yeah, finally it's happening. And then after that, it's just like, whoa, what's happening? Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, super happy to be working in that industry, to back into that industry, right? That I left like a couple years. There's a bit of a gap there, but super stoked to be back in there, and privilege for sure.
What did that gap year teach you about, your perspective on like snowboarding and clearly wanting to be a part of it still at some level?
Well, going through the tough time, that's when I realized that snowboarding taught me so much about everything, about life, about decision, about what to do, about being confident, having, like I said, that line, you stay in that line and you keep going. You don't stop, right? That's boom. And I think that really helped me. I'm like, dude, I did this in snowboarding. I know I can do whatever I put my head towards, right? So snowboarding really, snowboarding, as you travel, as you meet people, and you just, I don't know, you learn so much. It's a different learning, but it's amazing skill. It's like a street skill. So
that's so funny that you said street skills. Dion actually said that about you too, to just elaborate back onto that conversation I had with him. He said it just seemed like he always had like street smarts. He said he's a street smart guy. He's like a hustler. He's just like, if there's a problem, he's gonna fix it, and he doesn't know how he's going to, but he's gonna get it done.
And Martin was like that. Martin Gallant, he's like that too. I don't know. We had to work. I feel to make it here, we had to work double as hard as everybody. Because I think Sheen said no, but as far as the French guy, but we were coming here as French guys and talking French a lot. And, at first it was like, we just had to work. We had to be very good in order to kind of get to the next step and be part of the scene and stuff. So that's why all the people from Quebec coming here, they were working hard, making sure it happened for them. Just because you're coming, it's like going to a place where, I don't know, to a scene where you're the outsider. You're coming to a new scene, yeah. So you need to, whatever that scene is, you got to kind of make an impression, and you don't want to make a shitty impression. So you want to make if you're going to play, playing to get recruited, you got to play as good or better than those guys, right? So we had to work hard and come with some bangers to make sure that, they'd be like, oh yeah, those guys are, they're okay, they're not too bad. French, they're frogs, but whatever, they're good and they're nice. So it's like, took a bit of a grind for sure to be not accepted, but let into that. And I feel that Martin and I did a lot of that stuff early on.
Well, yeah, you guys helped pave the way for, you mentioned like Alex Ochu there, and that whole, and Benji Ritchie and that whole crew. And then after those people, like the bandwagon crew and onwards. And the one thing I will say, having been somebody who's worked immensely over the years with French Canadians and lived with a group of French Canadians, the one thing the majority of them have is work ethic.
Yeah.
Like, motherfuckers know how to grind, head down, working like an animal. Like, especially when it seemed like whenever there was an opportunity that they needed to capitalize on, it was all or nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they showed up and went the fucking extra mile. Like, working with Anto Chamberlain was insane. Like, you look at Frank Bourgeois, you look at like Lewif, Ben Balluck, like all of those names.
Yeah.
The reason why they stick out and they're remembered to this day, Alex Canton, everybody there, Ollie Gagnon,
418,
like
all those guys,
all of those people, they work very hard.
Yeah.
Like, they're skilled, but the skill for the most part comes in from hours on board or behind a camera or whatever. Like, they put the time in and they're willing to fucking, like, whatever the obstacle, they're fucking getting over it. Like, Anto, no spot was not a spot if he wanted to hit it.
Yeah.
He's like, need to rent a tractor to bulldoze this fucking building so I can you're like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just insane. And I was like, it was really inspiring because as somebody who was a little bit more, I had work ethic, but when I came here, there was a little bit of like, just chill and don't be so fucking keen. And like, I think I was so keen the first year I lived here, like fanning out on people and stuff, that I soon felt like I needed to like, I was like, dude, just chill and get baked and just shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? And then you're like, nah, fuck, that's actually not a great way to make it in snowboarding.
Yeah, no, because like, again, like we're starting with all, most of all with different names that are hard to say in English, a lot of us. So you had to make smaller names. But also, it's like you're starting as a Canadian. So you start as a Canadian, and it's harder back then to make it on the scene. You're Canadian, you're not from the U.S. and stuff like that. It was harder, and then you go with French Canadian trying to make it. So you had to really, really work hard and have, like I said, you had to work really hard. And if you saw someone working hard beside you, you had to work twice as hard just to make it.
You mentioned there that you didn't really have a mentor because you were the first generation because you started snowboarding in fucking 71 or whatever.
I'm born in 72, but I like it.
But you mentored a lot of French Canadians specifically. Were there any that like stood out to you that you were really proud of what they accomplished?
Yeah, Benji was amazing. Like Benji, it was amazing. Like seeing his, because I was done, and then he kept going for a couple of years, and he's always been a good friend of mine, and just pushing himself, and also Alex Oshu did very good, and then all those guys, DCP. Not that I was mentoring him, but I was before his time and killed it as well, and all the 4 and 8 the people that we paved the way for all those guys, and they're amazing because they had the work ethic, and then after that, like it's snowball to the street, and all those guys, the Whiff and Frank April and all those guys were working hard.
Yeah, Gilbert and the list kind of.
Gilbert was freaking Billock, and all those guys, man, like.
Oh, Greg Desjardins, like fucking the list goes
on.
It's Max B, Yan, and now Seb Toots is out of that. Like that whole crew, like it's every photographer, every filmer, anyone who's ever worked with that group, it's work ethic that goes along with every one of those people that made it to the top. And it is nice because I feel like work ethic is a wishy-washy thing these days. Most people want the money before they put the work in.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a lot of the younger kids that I've worked with or hear about my friends who a lot of them own construction companies now. It's like a kid wants, like Rube Goldberg owns like a painting company. Bo Bishop owns a timber restoration company. Like a lot of my friends own these companies that hire this next generation. And it's almost like they won't show up unless they're going to get paid this insane amount of money. And it's like, dude, you've proven nothing.
I know,
like,
right?
And then you're also on your fucking phone all day.
Yeah, that would be a hard one, man, as an owner of a business to navigate all this shit.
Okay, we got another Patreon question here. This one's good. From Sims Brothers. We really look up to how you went from being a pro snowboard legend to the coolest dad. Sharing the passion with your daughters, it's inspiring to see how you keep the stoke alive as a family. What's something your daughters have taught you about snowboarding? And what gets you more fired up these days? Riding in the backcountry with your kids or seeing them throw down in a contest?
Oof, what they taught me, well, the girls definitely taught me that girls rip big time. That's obviously, I mean, the cool dad. And you know what? It happened for a reason. I think that I got girls just to kind of put me back in the right lane. But, we do everything snowboarding as a family. And I live in Whistler. I'm like, when I was not growing up, but with the kids growing up, I'm like, okay, well, we're living in Whistler. I'm going to give them all the opportunity to try, to at least try snowboarding and succeed in whatever they do in life, right? And that's what I've been always trying to do, is give them the tools, the right tools for them to succeed, whatever it's snowboarding or other things like business, giving them pointers and stuff like that, or life, about partying, about boyfriends and stuff like that. Obviously, Christy is better at me than I am, but it's all about giving them the tools to succeed and the confidence. I'm not sure what the other question, sorry.
Would you rather enjoy a day with them in the backcountry riding like POW or see them killing it in contests?
Oh, for sure, backcountry, 100%. And that's the cool thing, because I'm starting to mentor them in the backcountry, bought some sleds. They were in there last year, and they're loving it, like it there. And that's just a matter of time for them to, to drive their own sleds and have their own crew. So it's like, yeah.
What does it feel like having two daughters that you love so much, that you've seen, grow into these incredible fucking humans and incredible snowboarders?
Yeah.
And mind you, your two daughters I'm super fans of both of their riding. What is it like to mentally shift to not be a helicopter parent and allow them to explore in the backcountry when there's an inherent risk?
Yeah, for sure. That's very hard, because we know that the backcountry can be dangerous. But again, it's teaching them and giving them the tool to do the right decision if they're going in the backcountry, right? And they did risk maturity. Juliette did that. I think Billy's going to do it this year. And just explaining to them what's attainable for where they're level at, as far as sledding and stuff, and what's the option when it's dangerous and stuff, and just do mini golf or go and doing pillows and stuff like that, and just again giving them the tool to make that right decision. And I mean, snowboarding is so fun, it's so cool, and for me it's like a full circle to be there, showing them the rope of the backcountry, and having a good time with them. They're like the cool thing about it is my time, my parents, I was close to my parents, but we didn't spend a whole lot of time with them. Like you would see them but you would fuck off and go play with your friends outside or whatever, do whatever kids do, come back and go to bed, and you see them maybe before going to school and stuff like that. But with the girls now, and what I love is it's like they're my friends. So we spend so much time. Like we do a lot of stuff together. We go snowboarding together. We go on trips together. Like they're part of my life. Like they fully are part of my life. So, and they want me to be part of their life. So when they're going party with some friends, they're not saying oh no, Papa, don't come with me. Like, no, come on, we're going to have a good time, So it's amazing because I get to meet their friends, and I don't know, it's like you see how the new generation are, and you understand a bit better how they feel and stuff like that. So I'm so happy about that, like being in their life constantly, and dabbing in. Obviously now they're in Europe and they're doing their stuff, but they're coming back. I'm going to Japan with Billy in January to film, and I try to do a lot of trips and try to be where they at some point and hang out with them, going to the R&D again with Billy, and just like helping her facilitate the backcountry again, and not just for her, for the girls there. Last year I did that a lot, building stuff with Ben, Bilok, helping, explaining okay, this is it. You mark a line right there on the jump where you want to go, and just little pointers. So it's awesome.
Have you always felt like you've just been your daughter's friends, or was there a point like where you were more of like a father and a little bit more of like strict rules, and now it's gotten to that point where they're now friends? Or has it always been like, because I feel like there's like a balance there where you probably still want them to like look up to you as like a father and a dad, and there's rules and expectations, but like also like, let's go ride POW and have fun together.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but
like what a balance you've created, honestly. That's amazing.
Yeah. And the cool thing too is they have the same passion as I do. So it's that much easier. He loves riding POW, riding snowboards. It's like, okay, what do we do? Well, let's go. Let's go on a trip. Let's go do this, like let's go ride POW. Oh, let's go build a jump right here. Okay, let's try to do some Wildcat. Oh, everybody's having fun. I used to take them on the wind lip, the Blackcomb wind lip, and teach them how to do Wildcats, and just like, and of course you have to do once you're doing one, and you explain and just do it. It's just like, man, it's like you're looking at this and you're like, oh man, this is cool. I'm with my kids doing some Wildcats, like it just, yeah, it's surreal, man. It's honestly, I'm so lucky. Like, but at the same time, I did build that luck, but I'm still lucky to have two beautiful girls, smart, super smart, that want to hang out with me. It's like, and you have to have rules. For sure, you have to have rules, but I think you have to explain to the kids is not just the rules, is you have to give them why the rules, right? That's what's important. Because if you don't tell them if you just bitch at them because you don't want them to do something, or smoke weed, and just don't smoke weed, But if you explain like, well, listen, if you smoke weed at your age, your brain is developing. It's really bad for you, and it's dangerous and stuff, or whatever. If you, I don't know. I'm not gonna take stupid, talk about stupid stuff, but it's just giving them an explanation why that rules apply, so they can understand. They might oppose to it, but you're like, hey, listen, this is the reason why I'm doing this. I'm not doing this just to punish you. It's for your own good, and this is the reason. So it's like,
listen, I've known a lot of dudes my whole life. I was part of a group called the Wildcats, and I don't want you to date Ryan because he's a fucking loser.
Yeah. And and I know the reason why. That's because Ryan, or just.
That one's got to be crazy. Two beautiful daughters, legendary pro, but like you're not afraid to. I'm imagining, the wrong kid opens the door. You're like, really, Billy? You're going on a date with that motherfucker? Like, I feel like, do you sometimes kind of like flex the intimidating dad kind of role? Or?
Yeah, but it's always in a funny way. Like Juliette was going out with a skier, and I freaking ran into her like hard. I'm like, that's not gonna last long. And just making fun. And Billy also she was going out with a hockey player. I'm like, dude.
Chris Brown.
No, God, yeah. I'm like, no, this is, anyway. Yeah. Just, I do F around with them a bit, but it's all in a good taste, right? And sometimes, I do lose my cool, but again, when I lose my cool, there's another person that can help me, which is my wife. So when you're two, it's easier than just by yourself, right? Whereas sometimes I'm going to go in a weird tangent. She's going to bring it back and just be like, and then, okay.
What's one piece of advice you would give to both of your daughters that you hope that they kind of follow throughout the course of their life? Like something that you're like, don't forget this. Directed towards those two.
Well, obviously there was always the talk about the drugs, right? That's definitely an advice that I told them early on, and I told them why, that was not good and that type of thing. But whatever I would say to them, whatever you do it right, do it to the fullest. Stick to what you want to go. Put a goal in sight and go for it. And I think that's what they're doing.
Well done, Dad. You're fucking killing it, buddy. Two absolute legends. All right, we got 10 questions presented by
Fans.
Thank you so much for supporting the podcast. We got the new Infuse boot up there. We just did a full deep dive on the Infuse, the Luna Pro, and the Verse, which you can check out in the previous video, where I kind of nerd out on the boots and give you a little bit of a deep dive on them. So take a look at that, and you can buy those bad boys at thesourceboards.com, our shop sponsor. Thank you, Vans. All right, 10 quick questions. Best style currently and back in the day.
Ooh. Are we already there?
Would you like to spitball something else?
No. I'm just asking. It's good. Back then, well, there's a lot of different. I mean, for me, obviously, Craig Kelly was, style master back then. And then in my career, there's so many awesome people, and I'm gonna name a couple because I don't think there's just one person. Obviously, Dev was influential for his style. Mark Frank was definitely one sick ass rider. I really like Igmar Backman as well, over tweak and just super powerful. Nicholas Mueller, obviously, and then today, I really like Rene because his writing is so real. That's what I like about it. Like, it's real. It's in the moment. It's happening right there. It's now.
Buy my bindings.
No, but that's, yeah.
Good picks. Really good picks. Career highlight.
I think was, what kind of started my career and probably the highlight, it's probably like my Transworld cover in 96, and then maybe the 15-page interview that I had in Transworld, kind of like 14 or 15 page at some point.
It's like a slushy hip, your Transworld cover?
Yeah, it was it's
quarter pipey hip thing?
For quarter pipe, I'm doing a alley-oop McTwist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was sick. And
what year is that, like 97?
96.
97?
Yeah, 96, I think.
Damn.
Yeah.
What did it feel like to land that cover at that moment? Did that like that's if you went to Craig Kelly camp in 1990, 1991-ish, and then 6 years later, you're on the cover of a magazine, which at that point was basically like getting the cover of Rolling Stones.
Yeah, pretty much it was. That must
have been wild.
It was wild, and it just reaffirmed to me that all that hard work was paying off.
Yeah, that's a big nod back then. I mean, getting a cover still is the holy grail to somebody who is a video part filmer, which is still nice. It's like getting a 6-page interview used to hold like a lot of weight, where I think that's gone down a little bit, and getting like a full page now is like, getting a full page in Transworld until 2014 was still like a big deal.
Yeah.
And then it's sad, but now that we've spent all of our time in the digital world, it's just holds less weight.
I look back, I think there's smaller magazine, but I think I have like close to 15 cover.
Damn.
Yeah. And then, which were some magazine in Europe, in Japan, Transworld, I think, a bunch of stuff. But back then it was everything. Like, that was the work you saw that you put in. What you put in, you saw it there. You're like, okay, I'm doing something right. Keep going. Yeah.
One piece of life advice we've kind of already gone over, but I don't know. You got another one or something?
Don't fuck it up.
Don't fuck it up. It's pretty good. That's a good one. No, it's kind of good. It's a good thing to say to yourself when you're going off the jump. You know what I mean? Like, don't fuck this up.
No, but honestly, like, in that advice is just, be kind, work hard, work very hard, be kind, set a goal, and keep working towards that goal.
And know that when you work towards that goal, the vision of heading towards that goal isn't actually what it's going to be.
No.
It's the bullets you have to, and the landmines you have to go to get around. It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Most underrated rider.
For me, it's like, I would say probably, it's not, and I don't know if it's underrated, but Frank Bourgeois. I feel he never got what he deserved. Like, that guy, what he did is real part and stuff. And if he was an American, he would have a freaking Red Bull helmet and the whole shebang. And that guy never got his due, I feel. And
somebody posted a clip of him lately, and it's a back 180 switch tail press on a wall, and it's so well done. And then like a cork, like 360 out, like a back one, switch 5. It's a back 5, but he lands in like a nice Manny on a wall, and it's like, I don't know. Like, what do you think?
I don't know. Honestly, it's like I said, maybe he was not in people's face. He's super humble. He's not like, like that guy works hard, like another freaking machine.
His X Games real snow shit was like, dude, that next level.
I put something last year or 2 years ago time flies when you're having fun. On the Now website, I had all his part from his real snow redone by the brothers, by Brofac.
Yeah.
And it was 5 minutes with new footage. It's like the stuff he was doing it's crazy.
The Brothers Factory crew, like that, those two homies have filmed a lot of snowboarding over the years. That's another rider that I don't bring up enough, that he really influenced me. Two people, actually. Charles Reed and what's his name? Jason Dubois.
Oh, yeah,
Those two were Jason Dubois. Charles got his shine. Jason Dubois never got his.
Yeah.
Jason, I used to do a lot of events, contests, shoots where he would be around, and he was undeniably better than mostly everybody. He was fucking sick.
Yeah. So I guess Frank, I can't pinpoint exactly why, but anyway, he was riding for Now, and when I saw them, I'm like, yeah, you're riding for Now for sure.
I mean, he kind of, to me, there's there's a rider here named Logan Hallbrick who went to Super Park, and nobody even knew who he was. And one time, like, Pat Bridges or T-Bird was doing like the standout award, and they didn't even know his name. They had to go up to my team manager and be like, hey, who was the DC guy wearing like the orange hoodie the whole time? Like, he was hitting all the biggest jump, like switchback 10, switchback 12, and it's like most people never even heard of him, and he's one of the best snowboarders I've ever rode with. So that story's as old as time. But the craziest thing is Frank was in, like, he had footage coming out on X Games. So you're like, well, I don't understand how that didn't translate.
I don't exactly. And he was like insane.
It was at a time where I feel like Rails was really trying to emulate that, like, we're going to push back into just like riding really skate style. And maybe because Dan Breezy had such a hold on like that look of going so big in the streets, that Frank's look was affiliated with Dan's, and Dan's was already this thing that was like,
it was already the man.
Yeah. And it was almost like when something's so unattainably crazy, you're almost like, when
maybe
Travis
it was too
hits
much. Yeah.
Chad's Gap and stuff, it's like, I don't know, a lot of people that were pros at that point were like, sick for you, but like no one else is gonna go fucking, like,
exactly.
You and Roman can have fun on that.
Yeah.
And then until there's a Sage Kotzenberg,
but still, it's still not a lot of people.
No, totally. There's like 10 people. But like, he was so undeniably ahead that you're like, I don't really get it either.
And the thing is, he was very good also at rail, like straight up rails. He was not like, he could do freaking insane stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what he was doing was street, and maybe it was, I don't know. There was the There was like the Frank April, like to hit it proper, and all those guys, like it had to be super proper. Louis always had to be proper, and they would be like, no, this doesn't, it's not good because you came up short or whatever. Just, they were hard on themselves. Those guys were so hard on themselves. But I mean, Frank could do as good as those guys.
What keeps you up at night?
I sleep well, man. But there is stuff, obviously. I think it's just life in general. Like, the fridge is coming tomorrow. You just things, work. The girls in Europe, like, it's not one thing. I don't have one thing. It's just life in general. It's not that it keeps me, but it's just in there. The hamster always turns. Me, it's like never stops. So it's like,
I think like people are like, well, it must be crazy to have ADHD, Jody. Like, you should take pills for it. I'm like, dude, I'm enjoying this crazy ride.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I like that my mind moves a million miles a minute. I don't like it when I'm trying to make a cup of coffee and I'm half done that, half done the laundry, the faucet's on because I was going to brush my teeth and I have one shoe on and I was supposed to walk the dog so the door's open. Like, at times like that, I'm like, damn, okay, maybe it'd be kind of chill.
You know what? I'm going to maybe add something to it. And it's like, probably when girls are doing stuff snowboarding sometimes and I'm not there, or I'm like, I definitely affects me for sure because I'm worried, right? I'm worried. I'm a dad, like, so I'm not there. I cannot control anything. Not that I want to control them, but I just, what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like they're away and they're doing stuff. It's like they went to Japan last year and there's always a bit in the back of your head. There's chance. Like,
yeah, I mean, there is.
But for most part, I'm pretty privileged. Not privileged, lucky. I sleep well.
That's like the greatest thing is that when you are with like together as a family, knowing that these times aren't forever, it's like it takes a wise person to really digest how special they are. Because we all have friends and family that have passed, and it's like you don't want to take that dinner with your uncle for granted that you think's really funny because the next time you come home, he might not be there. And it doesn't even need to be it's often like put in like context because obviously older people are passing at a higher number, but like, as somebody who's lost a lot of young friends at a young age, I remember being like, damn, like I remember one of my friends, Mike Tanner, texted me. He was in Vancouver. And he's like, Jody, I'm going to come up to Whistler, and I couldn't link up with him, and I didn't really put the effort in. And then he went home, and he got in a car crash, and he passed away. And I was like, I remember feeling like, fuck, I had the opportunity to hang out with Mike, and I didn't even. So it's another good thing, like when your friend texts you to go to the cafe, if you got the time, fucking try and zip over and say what's up. But
yeah, for sure. Family, friends, that's what's important.
I mean, you have such a special family as somebody sees it from the outside and somebody who wants to have a family. You're definitely somebody I look up to as like, that's like when I see you guys all together, I'm like, you did it.
Yeah.
Oh like,
yeah. And now we go out together. So that's like, it's surreal, man. And I'm so lucky, so blessed. So I'm like, I'm not a religious person, but I'm stoked.
Your favorite snowboard trick or moment you've seen with your own eyes?
It's hard to say. I mean, Craig Kelly was pretty sweet to see in the pipe back then. Tadashi, seeing what he threw down. Tadashi was just always amazing me, like how good he became. And he was just always on the up all the time. So, I don't know. Seeing him, I think also Terry in the pipe, live, that was freaking next level. Terry was just like a different level. And so is, a lot of guys were good, but he was just, I don't know, that much better.
I mean, he's Terrier for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, Craig, Terrier.
Yeah, I don't know. It's live, like Peter too, filming with Peter. Like Peter was so good. So, just
I couldn't imagine like your life like dropping into a jump and it's like you're dropping in and you're giving fucking O's to like you're on rev and you're like Jeremy JP drop and you're like Kurt Heine I'm coming in, and then the next session you're with Peter fucking Line and like dude you've had
I film with a lot of people and it's like honestly it's such a small world and everybody that honestly that I met has been amazing. Like I can't tell you one person writer that was a dick to anyone or stuff. Like the community is, I don't know, maybe it's changed, but it was awesome. Snowboarder I felt were tight, holding themselves together, and just, I mean, yeah, everybody talks shit, but whatever. It's part of human nature.
Which female rider changed the course of freestyle snowboarding, in your opinion?
Maybe Tara Dikitis.
Great pick. I mean, to me, she's like my fave.
Yeah, Tara Dikitis was insane, and she was punk, and she was just everything. Like, and there was not a lot of people back then like her. Like, she was in the movie, and the movie were important. She was pretty much the only one. Well, that's what I can remember. But there was not a lot of girls doing what we were doing. So there was girls in halfpipe. There was girls doing other stuff. But what she was doing, filming, she was pretty, and hanging out with a bunch of boys when, like boys are, it's, can be heavy sometimes because everybody wants the shot and it's like, gets serious. And, she was like there and hanging with the boys and Kevin Jones. And yeah, it was awesome.
Do you think for your daughters, is it beneficial for them to be filming with an all-guy crew, a hybrid, or do you think it's best for them to be out with like a group of females?
I think to start right now, it's probably good that she's with a bunch of girls. And I would like to see, because it's great, because then they can kind of understand more what's happening and they're not slowing down anyone. And because guys, sometimes it's like, okay, we got to go. Like, girls, it's different dynamic. Everything is about filming with girls. It's a totally different dynamic than boys. They look at mountain differently, and same idea at the end. It's just, we take our time and stuff like that, where boys were
reckless.
Reckless. Fuck, let's go. If we're done here, let's go here. Like, I get, so girls don't want to get stuck because they know how heavy a freaking sled is. So it's like their route and stuff. So it's a bit different, but
sounds like a lot of smartness.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of smartness. And then I would say, I think boys, at one point, it would be good to bring a bit of mixed crew. I think it's very good because then they get pushed a bit, maybe more, unless you have someone that's killing it like next level. But and guys nowadays, they can help a lot, right? They can help you with vision and just, hey, you can land there. It would work for you and stuff like that. So it's great. And plus, it's not bad because then if you need to shovel or things happen, you have the arms or you have people. It's like, it's good. Mix is good.
Favorite steel boarder of all time?
Oh, that's a hard one, but I really like Louis and Frank April. I think Frank April was just because I just could relate. He was a good friend of mine, and just so is Louis. Like, don't get me wrong, but Louis was just, how can I say that? Knife, razor's edge, perfect, precision. Where Frank was teased, but also coolness, like of persona, fucking awesome.
I mean, Frank's personality is undeniably awesome. So is Louis in his own unique way, but it's very casual and chill.
Yeah.
And soft spoken.
He's in the room, you don't hear too much. Frank and me in a room, you hear a lot.
Oh yeah, same with me. I'm the same way. But when Louis chimes in, it's with a very calculated and thoughtful response. Whether it is a joke or it's something serious, he's thought about what he says before he speaks.
And of course, Jet Anderson is freaking. I'm thinking Canadian here because why not, right?
We're not in the bombhole, man.
Yeah, we can do it if we want.
Your favorite grab of all time?
Grab. I guess the method would be the best. Just Yeah.
Who's got the best method in your opinion?
It's hard because it's hard to say because there's so many ways to do it, right? And many ways when I say that. Yeah, there's so many ways to do it, and you have and it's. I feel it's almost generational. I mean, obviously, Nicholas had a pretty sick method.
Do you like it on the nose more, or do you like it in between the bindings, like the Martin Gallant one there?
I like I don't know. I don't care as long as it's not on the nose, like, you know what I'm saying? Like if it's just past your front binding or in between, I think that's fine. Like that's just whatever you feel more comfortable or you like. I think Jimmy Lynn, obviously, amazing method, right? Yeah. Nicholas, Jamie. It's just, I think it's, like I said, there's so many different method out there.
Oh yeah, it's almost like it is a weird.
Some people just arch their back.
Ugh, yeah, not into the arch back ones.
And then you have the one that really tweaks, and there's, I don't know, it's what would you say?
I like the one that
this one.
I like Martin Gallant.
But this
I
is
like
like
Rube Goldberg's. I like Jamie Lynn.
This is not a method. I wouldn't call that a method.
I know it's like a crooked cop melon.
Yes,
tweak.
it's a melon.
This
is insane.
Yeah.
No, not a lot of people do those things anymore.
That's how Rube's method kind of looks, and my method, I try to emulate Rube because I used to see him.
This is like a melon like because I've seen Martin do method where he grabs a bit in front, but this is insane. This is like a skateboard style freaking melon like method.
I think that I like the melon method. Then that's my favorite one. I used to call them Tech 9 methods because like they would always be in the Tech 9 movies.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I don't know why. But
I think this is we used to do them a lot, and
I mean, do you know who's I like? Is Tyler Lepore has one that's really similar to this, and that one was really sick too. I'm really weird with methods though, where like normally people bring up their favorite methods and they say like Craig or Nicholas Mueller or whatever. I'm like, for me, I don't like the whole like grab. Brock Crouch does a really good method the way I don't like it done, but he does it in a way that I like it. Hard to explain, but I don't like the like kick out back foot method, arch back. No, I don't. It's not for me, but I'm allowed to have an opinion. So
well, I think it's again, there's so many cool ways. There's flavor for everybody. It's just you have an opinion, but really at the end of the day, no one's right.
That is true.
Because it's whatever you want to see, whatever. Anyway.
All right, one thing that's still left on your bucket list.
Oh, bucket list. Maybe film a video part with the girls.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah.
What do you think, if you were hitting a step down, what's one trick that you would be like, fuck it, I'm going for it?
I don't know. Switchback 5, I think it's easy.
You go switchback 5 over cab 5?
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, I don't know.
You got both of those.
Yeah. Oh, no, for sure. But it's just, I don't know. We talk about it. Like, the girls really want to do a video part together. So we're talking about it. Right now, they're filming for Full Moon.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another year, but then we'll reassess. And then if we can find the funding and figure it out, then we're gonna do something pretty cool. And I'm not gonna tell you exactly what we have in mind, but if it works, it's gonna be insane.
All right, from second generation snowboarder, started in 1984, which very few people have that stamp. Who is the GOAT?
Oh shit, the GOAT again, generational. Craig Kelly, Terrier, Travis Rice. That's it.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
What do you think about natural selection?
I think that it's definitely in the right direction. I think it's because I feel that riding down the mountain like in a setting where everything is on track and people can really show their their creativity, and it's not dedicated by how many spin you do. It's more dedicating on the route you're doing and what you're gonna do and how you're gonna express yourself. I think it's in the right direction. I think it's very cool, and I think because I did listen to I listened to a lot of podcasts, but to Sheen, I think it's really hard to reach that general people about the view and being in front of a TV that long. To me, it's everything. And you know what? It's so hard. Snowboarding, it's so hard to show because of weather, because of everything. Weather, the variable that can go wrong. It could be a shitty snow year and stuff. Like, you're left with what? Fuck, it's so hard. So, yes, I think it's very awesome, and I respect and I praise what Travis is doing, what he's trying to do. It's like, again, he's whatever he took from snowboarding, he's putting it back into snowboarding, and that's insane. He could just fuck off and do whatever he wants, but he's determined to make snowboarding amazing to people and show a different side of snowboarding than what you see at the X Games or at the Olympics. Because there is a lot of those riders, they never get that shine, but they're the one that's driving the snowboarding, that's driving the trend, that's driving what people buy, how people buy, and the coolness of snowboarding. They're the one. So he wants to make sure that those guys have a time to shine, and that's amazing. It's just, I think, like I said, again, I think it's very hard to showcase all that in a really short period. And I know I think you were saying about reality TV, and I don't know what the formula is, but it's not far. It just needs to be like the video part, like they were trying to do that with the duel, and it's just, again, if the fucking place is shit, then your duel looks like crap. And people like, that guy sucks, but that guy's one of the best in the world, and because he was jumping on fucking cardboard. You know what I'm saying? So it's really hard, but in the right direction. And I hope stuff lines up for him and everything works out, and because my girls, that's all they want to do. That's not all they want to do, but they talk about it. They're like, because there's talks of having a free ride in the Olympics. I don't know what it's looking like. Is it free ride world tour or it's NAT selection? If it would NAT selection would be the benchmark for that would make sense. If it's the world tour, I'm not super sure that's the good avenue. But if it's natty, that you have to go there and you have a couple stop and this is your qualification for, and you get a Travis Rice to be the guy that's managing that aspect, or is a production to the Olympics. Now we're starting to talk. But if it's again the FIS, it's bullshit.
Yeah, back to it's all about the people. Mm-hmm. If you're gonna hire a snowboard department to open up this Olympic freestyle backcountry element, if it's not natural selection and hopefully if Travis wanted to be a part of it, which I don't even think he would want to be. I think he is happy to put his energy into natural selection, but I mean, who knows what the future holds, but hopefully if they were to break into that fucking realm, it would be done properly, because the last thing that we need as snowboarders is for people that don't care about snowboarding to be pretend waving our fucking flag anymore. You know what I mean? Like we want snowboarders to be the people speaking about snowboarding, like you. Yeah. JF, you're a fucking legend. Thank
Jody, you talk too much.
I know.
Grab a beer.
All right. Oh, it's fucking.
It's warm too. Well, I don't know if it's warm or cold, but let's do a cheer to snowboarding.
All right. Well.
Oh, that's a good sound.
I'm drinking a Labatt's Wildcats Strong, 6.1%.
Yeah, don't.
With JF, the fucking legend.
And I'm drinking a Pad's Blue Ribbon, but
We don't have a beer sponsor yet. So
no. But yeah, Labatt's. If you want to sponsor cool people, you'll see after one, you'll want to flip upside down. I promise.
Wildcats flipping mad shit
since '99.
Damn, dude. Yeah, the Little Bastards that's a timeless classic.
Oh my god.
I think we're gonna go into. I think we're just gonna keep it rolling for this beer, and this is gonna be called like the bonus feature of the podcast.
I love the bonus.
We've never done this before. It's called After Hours. This is gonna be kind of like if you've seen the Wildcats movies. This is gonna be like Diary, the one that you don't necessarily need to watch again.
Come on.
No, that was the only one I remember.
I know. Please, I know. It's not.
So the Wildcats just got complicated because of a bunch of business shit, but like. It's too bad because they had a cool thing going, and it seems like a lot of snowboard companies, like you look at Grenade, you look Mission 6, Stepchild, Dub Outerwear, like you just go down the line, you know, and everything that seems great seems to disappear. Whenever there's a snowboard company like a Now or whatever that's just like born from snowboarding, I don't even care if I fucking love the company or not. I just fuck those people are putting in the effort to stick around.
Yeah.
You know, year over year, you're rolling with the waves. Some years you make money, some years you don't.
Yeah.
But like, if you're in it for the good reason, and you're in it for the community, well, you might be just fucking lucky enough to have a successful snowboard company and a hell of a fucking fun time on planet Earth with good people.
That's all we strive for, man. Wildcat strong. No, but for real, like that's the bottom. That's what's important. And the Wildcats are, it was a good time, man. And I miss it for sure. I mean, like,
what, being a rock star? Yeah, it sounded fun.
Well, yeah, with
going to Japan and everyone's holding flags of you guys and screaming your names. Like,
dude, it was surreal.
You guys were legit rock stars. I don't think people realize that snowboarders in the late 90s that were pros were fucking rock stars around the world.
It was, and then there's so many stories. It's just like we could do 20 hours of stories of shit that happened. You know, it's crazy, and it's fun, and we live our life to the fullest. And I think that's why I love not partying, but I just don't want to miss anything in life. So I want to be there. I want to be part of it. I want to, like, I don't have FOMO, but I love, I love life. So I want to enjoy it all the time.
Yeah,
so
me too.
And like,
enjoying life comes with a balance where if you don't have the dialed in life part, you can't have the pleasure of celebrating with the beers part because it doesn't work.
And when I was saying that, it's not just about drinking. It's like, I have a place on the island in Juliette, and I'm fishing. I have a boat, and that's my new passion. Fishing every summer, catching my own fish, and just freaking.
That's the balance, though. The hard work that you put in has balanced you out to have this cool, fucking awesome life. But you also kind of have to dream kind of big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm imagining the first day of you tinkering with a binding, if that was on film, would have looked fucking pathetic. You would have been like, with a ratchet strap and a headlamp in your fucking garage. Like,
dude, you should see my first prototype. I still have my first prototype, and it's looking like Frankenstein, but it worked. And then the thing is that led me to designing more stuff, and with the Nidecker designing more binding, and now with the phase, it's just been freaking nonstop, man. And I love it because I'm a snowboarder, like, and I see what people are putting out sometimes, bindings and stuff. You're like, would you ride it? If I see, no, I wouldn't ride it, then I'm not going there. I'm not going in that direction. Like, so it's like making stuff that I want to ride, I would want to ride, and people would want to ride. Otherwise, what's the point? Like, I'm not making anything just to please people that are just snowboarding once or twice a year. I'm making something that people are snowboarding all the time. And so. That's what it is, bro.
Fucking rights, dude. You invented this shit, dude. I don't know.
I don't know if I. Well, I
Dude.
did. I did.
88 when you dropped 84 at the beginning, I was like, are you what? I was thinking like, yeah, and then I was boarding in like 89 or like 90, but like 84 is I think
No, I
That's
think
a first.
Sheen would be 80. He would be around that.
no, Sheen was 79. I'm just kidding.
Fuck, I'm like
Sheen, the White Wizard? Come on.
Yeah, I would think I snowboarded for 40 years, I think. 40 plus years, yeah.
How has snowboarding changed over those 40 years?
Oh, fuck.
Describe that and from your perspective. Dig deep. Close your eyes.
How did it change?
Open them.
Okay. How did it change? At one point, it was just a feeling like not a feeling, but it was something we all shared as friends and stuff like that. And then it became at one point, it became a sport. It was kind of like something you did back then as a hobby and a fucking rebellious way to skiing. Because I did ski. I skied till I was, I think 13, 14. And I just was getting into all those sports from California again. Skateboarding, BMXing. And everything looked fucking awesome over there. And we're living in small towns and we're seeing all that. And then snowboard comes around and you see blonde hair fucking method like Damien Sanders, Rocket Air. Like, fuck, that looks cool. And so, obviously, California had a big impact on everything snowboarding. That's where Sim's from, right? So, yeah, it was amazing. And I think it was, at the beginning, it was just like, we did it because we wanted to be different. Well, not we did. And you ask me what has changed, just trying to get there. But it was all about being part of something that before everybody, that no one was part. And it's kind of like cool. And you, like you said, you saw people and it was kind of a community. It was kind of a trend, but everything was amazing. And then it became a sport and money started coming in like crazy. Lots of money came in. And like you said, again, a lot of weird people came in and went out. Took juice, left nothing, and came, just fucking drained it. And that's pretty cool. Not cool, but it's crazy. It's crazy that skateboarding, I don't know, tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it ever happened that way in skateboarding. Didn't skateboard pretty much stay core, or it did a bit the same thing?
I think that snowboarding compares itself to skateboarding so much in almost an unhealthy way. And I also think, like, even myself, I often compare snowboarding and how it's navigating its space to skateboarding. But unless you were unless you were Andrew Reynolds and I was fucking Tony Hawk, like what do I know about that world, really?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
Like I've always looked up to skating. I watch skateboard videos.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up skateboarding. I love it. I think it looks fucking incredible. I arguably follow like more skating than snowboarding, as far as like I get so excited when I see skating on Instagram. There is like arguably there's more skate clips that look cool to me than snowboard clips, especially on the rails these days.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but like rail riding on snowboarding, there's not everybody's able to make that look good. I mean, not everybody's able to make every avenue of snowboarding look good to me. It's shifted so much over the years where I used to think it all looked pretty sick and I was stoked on it all, and it's really changed now. I'm like, you know, someone front boards a long rail, but it's kind of crooked, and I don't know, they got like red bindings. I'm like, it's just not hitting for me today. I don't know what to tell you. Like Jed, like the names that you brought up that are riding rails, and shout outs to the last Rome movie, Swarm. I felt like that movie was like a bandwagon. It was just like a bunch of young kids that not everybody's heard of, and they just are riding rails in a really, really tasteful way that I think looks really good and makes snowboarding look good. But that's my unique perspective and my unique take on what I like in rail riding. But as you were mentioning a long time ago, like, yeah, that's what we like. You know, we're talking about the method there. But there's no right or wrong way, and that's one of the coolest things about being, as somebody who would call themselves now like not a historian yet, because there's people who know way more, but I'm getting to that point where I love it so much, where I love to deep dive on everything, that, you know, you hang out with someone who has an opinion on snowboarding. How fun is it to be on a chairlift and be like, someone's like, oh, did you see this part? I really like that cab 5. You're like, fuck that cab 5. Like, that's why we're snowboarders. You get on a chairlift and you argue about a video part that was sick to you or not sick to you, or you like the pants or you don't like the pants. Like, I love that. I live for that banter. You know, I don't want it to be this cohesive space where we all agree on what's dope.
That would
How
suck.
boring would that be?
That'd be, yeah. And to go back what you were saying about what changed, it's just intensity of the sport changed for sure. Like it was different. Like sports were the snowboarding at the beginning was just raw, real, authentic, and just it definitely changed when it became a sport, because it was now we're talking, now it's money. We need money. We need to run that ship. So
your generation,
we fucked it
opened up the floodgates to fucking selling the soul. It's not us. It's not even you. It's arguably the generation before. It's the Damian Sanders of the fucking world that opened up the floodgates to Playboy and stuff like that.
Well, you're 17 and you see this, you're like, yeah, I want to be a pro snowboarder.
And snowboarders, to me, a cool perspective maybe is that you as a snowboarder thought snowboarding was cool. Yeah. The outside world didn't think snowboarding was cool.
Yeah.
And so doing something that you think is cool that the rest of the fucking planet thinks is fucking stupid is so fucking cool.
That's what I
but
mean.
But now,
back then
snowboarding to the average Joe is like, you snowboard? That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
So then you're kind of doing it for like clout or something. You can anyway. Not everyone's doing that. But that is a thing to think about, at least, is that like, are you doing it for clout? Because no one from your generation or the generation previous was doing it for that, because you were in a small little group that if you rode a snowboard, you're like, I'm so fucking cool. But like the dude next to you that's like lives in Vancouver and you're packing up your fucking car with a board is like, look at that fucking loser. It's like playing the yo-yo or something. You know what I mean? No one was doing it.
No, and we were not... it was a weird time, man. Exactly. It's just, it was different. It was punk people. Yeah, it was fucking awesome. What a life, man, we got to experience and to be in. I don't know if there's, I mean, obviously skate is, I would say it's similar and stuff like that, but wow. You know, traveling and just doing snowboarding and just being part of this and meeting so many cool people and just sharing so many good memories. Like, it's insane. It's like, honestly, like, I couldn't ask for a better life.
I love when I see, like, your band of fucking brothers get together.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like, it's a bad comparison, but it's a comparison, and I'm going to draw it anyway, is like, you know, like when people after World War II went to the fucking Legion, you know? Like my grandfather, who's like my fucking hero, he'd go into the Legion for a crispy pint with his fucking boys and talk about like the fucking ventures that they did together. Now when I get together with my friends I haven't seen in years and you bump into them in these like premieres, which are our kind of legions, you're like, it's like this, like, no one understands us like snowboarders. And then when we all go down to the basement of some fucking dive bar to watch a video and we're all in there, and I just feel at home in there, and some guy wants to argue about methods, I'm like, this is right where I should be.
Yeah, right here. Give it to me.
Yeah, totally. Like,
give it to
here
me.
We go. Like, you like this part or not? You know, like, I do like the emphasis on Rene Renecongas' snowboarding there too. Like, What an
honestly.
explosive, exciting snowboarder to watch.
And I know him like personally. Like I see him. I was just in New Zealand when he was filming all his crazy shit. And Rene, I don't know if anyone loves snowboarding as much as he does. It's insane. I mean, of course there is, but that guy, this Rene brings me back to where we started. That's what Rene is for me. Brings me back to where we started. That type of vibe and realness is what snowboarding is all about. He doesn't snowboard to please anyone. And what he does, it's because it's coming out of his brain. He's not doing like, I'm going to do this just to get those views and stuff. It's just him. He's real. He's raw. He's doing it. It's just, you don't even know if he's going to hit left or right, and then he just goes mental. And I like the fucking gassing thing, because every time I see him, I'm like, oh, man. Like, he's like at the Olympics, like, give it gas, fucking dude. That's like, you can't do shit anywhere. So that's his little thing telling you, like, fuck all your idiot. I'm giving gas. And, probably not the best contest winner ever, but the guy is insane to watch, and his personality and everything is just insane. Rene Kangas is, in my book, like one of the greatest as far as next generation of boarder, and is, man, he's always smiling. The fucking guy's always smiling. You go talk to him, yeah, Jeff, what's up? Hey, let's go. He's just so funny. Love the kid. Yeah. And he's fun.
In 2025, there's so many snowboarders on this fucking planet. How does somebody stand out in this digital world? What's going to make someone fucking pop?
Well,
these days,
it's a combination, obviously, I think. For me, anyway, when I see someone, and I think it's the package deal that you starting to like it, eh?
I think I'm about to flip off the fucking... Jesus Christ.
It's 6.1. It was cheap, and it got us so fucked up. That's why we loved it.
I do like a crispy fucking pint. I do.
But yeah, so technically, I mean, what I love, because it's all, not it's all about, but snowboarding, it's a expression of yourself the way you want to be, right? And that's what I like about snowboarding, because you express yourself not just on the snow, but also off the snow and your persona. So it's like, that's very important too, because there was some people that came, I'm not going to name anyone, very talented, some of the best personality or just the way they are, they're just blah. And they're just very good, but they don't really bring anything fun to the vibe of what snowboarding is, right? So that happens. So what I like to see is people with vibes, some people with authentic, they are authentic, and they bring something different to the game. And that could be anything. It could be your tricks. It could be the way you do things, or the way you portray yourself. Like, Fridge. Let's, for instance, I put him on now because I love Fridge, because Fridge is not scared of being who he wants to be as a person, right? He's like, dude, I'm gonna do. This is how he sees. Like, people like, what's in your backpack? Well, he's like, I'm here to perform, so this is my tool. I'm just. This is what I use. And so he's different. So people know who Fridge is. The whole world know pretty much who Fridge is. If you like him or not, that's your take. But he's different. You have Rene, that's different, right? People are different. Like, you have
Haldor,
that's fucking different.
Haldor's different. Cale Stevens was different.
Exactly.
J2.
But
MFM.
MFM, a lot
Laura
of us.
Haydar.
Yeah.
Lucas Magoon, Scotty Whitlake.
Yeah, exactly. Mikey LeBlanc.
Like,
JP was different. Like,
he was.
They're all different. So you're looking at them. It's like you might like them or you might not, but they're bringing something different to the table. And JP was a lot of yak and stuff like that, and Israel and the way he was writing.
And the boom of rap,
Yeah.
dude. If you were a white kid that liked
Mark
rap,
Frank. And the thing is, we don't see that as much because what we're asking. Well, it's not. We do see it, but there's so many snowboarders nowadays, right? There's tons. When my day, we were like, I don't know, less. So technically, there was more money for us, and now it's less because there's more people. But anyway, honestly, there's so many things that maybe we do part 2 one day or whatever.
Oh, well, we're definitely everybody I've done, I'm gonna do again
because there's so much things that I haven't talked about that I feel it's good to get out there. But it was a very good first time. But yeah, CYing. So where was I? We're talking about people different. Yeah, and you're different. Like there's so many. Rube is different.
Rube.
Think about it, man.
Rube is
Martin's
not different. Rube's personality is different, but his video parts never showed it. And I will say that's a big thing. That is what makes an editor great. Is somebody who can. Rusty hit a home run this year with the new movie The Realm because
I haven't seen it, but I heard
Darcy Sharp has never been portrayed as Darcy Sharp, and in this film, whether you like him or you hate him, you get to fucking know, and everyone should love him because Darcy's the fucking best, but you will know who that person is. And same with Bryn. Bryn fucking vapes. He loves vaping. So there's vaping in the fucking movie. You know what I mean? Like, Bryn likes to just wear whatever the fuck he likes to wear. He likes crazy rap music, and he likes to just go snowboarding in the backcountry. And you're lucky. He's like a unicorn, and he doesn't really want to even be filming. I feel like it's just like you have to capture him.
Yeah,
Bryn. If nobody was filming Bryn, he would go and ride lines in the Pemberton backcountry with him and one ski buddy, nobody would ever film it.
Yeah, and no one would have known him.
And he wouldn't care. He would still just be the same guy.
Yeah. That's why guys like him, it's important that they're part of it. It's so important. And so, again, going back to what we talk about is like the coolness about snowboarding is there's a flavor for everybody. And the more flavor you put in, the better the sport is.
That's good. That's a fucking good JF quote.
Yeah. I'm telling you, the true juice.
I liked a random name that just popped into my head, and just because I can do what I want because I'm the host. Paavo Tikkanen.
Yeah.
That motherfucker was sick.
Paavo was insane. Like I mentioned him. Didn't I not mention him on Rozzy? I think I did. Yeah. Yeah. Paavo was amazing. The fucker could speak 7 languages, I think. Yeah, it was insane. French, German, Finnish, because he's Finnish. Then there's another dialect. And then, anyway, I was like, what? Super amazing. Yeah, Paavo, we had so much good times with Paavo. Stylish. He was stylish, that Paavo. Always down for an adventure. Yeah, so like I said, it's like the Rozzy days were just amazing people doing amazing things.
Should we go for dinner soon here?
Yeah, I think we should pretty much.
Closing ceremony. I think we should eat. I've never done this.
Yeah.
I think we each do a closing ceremony.
Okay.
So it'll start with me, and then it'll end, which I've never done.
Yeah.
So you're the first. It'll end with you. And you can end because you've been snowboarding since like 1961 or whatever. Okay.
I'll try my best.
Good luck. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. That was the bonus features of Wildcats with Jody and JF. Thank you for listening to the podcast with this absolute legend who has done more for snowboarding than most realize. From being one of the early pioneers moving out here as a French Canadian to inspiring more French Canadians than we can even fucking wrap our heads around, including the likes of one of the greats, Lewif, and Ben. There's so many people that are kind of enwrapped in that French-Canadian group that have come out and done amazing things in snowboarding. And it's from people like Martin Gallant and JF and many more. Alex and Benji and that crew. So shout out to all the French Canadians out there that had to work twice as hard. We fucking see it and we love you guys, and thank you for fucking absolutely crushing it over the years. JF, thank you for your dedication to the craft. Thank you for, after your career, coming back in, innovating the binding, staying in it, and having a family and shaping your 2 daughters who are now inspiring the next generation. And yeah, thanks for picking up the snowboard and having a good time and just being an overall fucking stellar human. Thank you for coming on the show. I can't wait to see you and your daughters in your full-length project in 2027. Now I'm going to pass the ball to you.
Wow, that was very nice. It was very emotional. Thank you, Jody. Thank all the listener, the people out there, all the people that influenced me snowboarding, that put in and gave back to the sport. All you homies, I cannot, I cannot mention everybody, but everybody that was along the ride with me. It's been an honor. Snowboarding is amazing. It's in good hands. We have the proof. This podcast is the proof. I want to say thank you to all your sponsors and people that love snowboarding. Keep up the good work, man. And have one at me if you feel like it. If you don't, then do whatever please you. We love you all. Peace.
Peace, everybody. Take care. Be a good person. You know how it is. Go snowboarding this year. It's funner than you remember. More fun.
Yep.
Peace.
Peace. Holy fuck, that was awesome.